6 o'clock. Chelsea will be here in a second. She's turning on the recorder.
She said that we should start.
Oh, and then she'll turn it on after the play. Okay, please stand. I'm gonna call the meeting to order. Pledge allegiance to the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thank you, Chelsea.
You're welcome.
All right, we're here on Monday, February the 9th. Washburn City Commission meeting. We're down to number 3 on the agenda. Approve the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Okay. Any other discussion? If not, Brandon?
Yes.
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 And yes. All right, is there any public comment? No. All right, consent agenda items.
Motion to approve consent agenda items.
Second. Okay. Any other discussion? Brandon?
Yes.
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 And yes. All right. Number 6, waiver of fees, Lions Club.
Actually, I'm
Can you,
talking to,
Matt, can you state who you are?
oh yeah, okay, I'm Mac Beaudry, I'm, secretary for the Lions Club, and I'm the worshipful master for the Masonic Lodge, and I'm here on both cases today. We're asking for, abatement of the fees for our breakfast, which is, this Sunday. We will have, a bake sale along with that breakfast. The bake sale is usually provided by all the churches in town. And we put the fees together, and this year our fees our profits from the breakfast will go toward Meals on Wheels and snacks for the school. They run quite a bit of snacks. And we didn't have quite a deal with this because they get pretty good money for, and so I'm asking for payment for that. Now, the other thing I was gonna ask about before is, we have the Masonic Lodge 122. We have
Can we
lunch for.
stop and vote on the waiver of
Oh, we
fees?
gotta vote for it.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have them,
Yeah.
because it's,
Yeah.
deals with money,
Separated.
we have
Yeah,
separate
okay.
agenda items.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you, Chelsea. Okay, so we have a waiver of fees for the breakfast first to discuss. I'll make a motion to waive the fees for the Lions Club breakfast.
Second.
Any other discussion? The only thing I have to say is that is the best bake sale of the year.
It is.
It is,
Oh,
it is. I usually get your wallet out.
They end up with about 8
Yeah.
tables of bacon.
It goes for a great cause. Thank you. Okay, Brandon?
Yes.
I'll abstain because I'm a member, but,
Oh, okay.
yes.
Yes.
And yes. Okay,
Thank you.
so you want to talk about the
Yeah.
Masonic?
The Masonic Lodge has we do a honor banquet, and I'm asking for abatement of lot for that, April 27th. And what it is we put on a banquet for the honors kids in Washburn, Wilton, Underwood, and Turtle Lake. And we usually end up with about, we end up with about 100 and some kids, and then 300 people altogether. And we try to serve a pretty nice ham. I think it'll be this year, but ham or Swiss steak. And nowadays we need the Lions. The Lions do a lot of help for that. And the American Legion's also been helping us out today. It's a good cause, you know, I see kids there now that are in, not only in college, but out making money, and they've all been through this, honor banquet. This is our 63rd
Wow.
honor banquet.
It's a great cause, man.
Yeah, it is.
It's a great cause.
I see.
All right. Somebody want to make a motion to approve the waiver of fees for the Masonic Honor Banquet?
Make a motion to waive the fees.
Okay,
Second.
all right. Is there any other discussion? If not, Brandon?
Yes.
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 And yes, thank you, Matt.
Very good, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Good luck.
You have a good day.
All right, we're gonna move on to number 8, petition to vacate street. We've been discussing this in the last couple of meetings. Yeah, number 8. Jamie, you wanted to share some concerns?
Well, I guess we still have that sewer line going through that
Mhm.
at the moment, so I mean, with that going through there, I don't know if we should vacate it, so, I guess is my thoughts, so.
Yeah. If it was an overhead utility where they could work around it, but the unforeseen being underground and, I guess that creates a lot more of an issue.
Would it be right, is it right in the way for where he was, there's no way to go around, like, to go around?
Well, it's not gonna affect his building, just that they wanted to vacate the street to give them more property. But if we vacate the street and then, if we ever have an issue with that
Mhm.
underground sewer line, well, then we're gonna have to impede that property and disturb it. I don't think we wanna, my personal feeling, I kinda agree with Jamie that,
Cause did Adam ever go down and locate exactly where it was
Yeah.
from the last meeting?
He can't exactly locate it. He would have to hire somebody.
okay,
I mean, he has a good idea. If we were to do it, he said he would at least, have a 20-foot easement on each side of the sewer line.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that was where, as per the last meeting, to at least know exactly where it's at, if we're gonna
Right,
do a partial easement, but that's not done,
Yeah.
so
that's,
I don't-
yeah.
where do you wanna go from here? I guess if it's not,
I'm gonna make a motion not to vacate that street.
and I'll second that.
Okay. Okay, move on to discussion. Is there anyone have anything to talk about?
So then after we vote on it, it's done with, can he come back and talk?
Oh,
about it?
Yeah, he can always come back. You can, but just, it's not approved
Yep.
as of yet.
Right.
Yeah, you can always come back 2, 3, 4 times, just to get the language or variances
Okay.
resolved, but.
What's the street address?
Second Avenue. It would be 3rd Street and 2nd Avenue. That one between the two, the one has a shop on there. And then the other one is that empty lot that he was looking at building on.
Yeah, garage.
Okay. Lift station down there.
Mhm.
Yes, yep.
You have anything you wanna talk about, Eric, since you're the,
No, I just wanted to see where it was, and I would agree with Jamie saying that, it's a pretty important sewer main. It's right before the lift station, so,
Mhm.
And I got a map here if you wanna see.
yeah, I was just looking on my phone here.
Okay.
GIS.
Sure. All right, any other discussion? Okay, so a vote to not allow the vacate. Brandon?
Yes.
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 And yes. All right, thank you. Thank you. Parkway, second edition. It's under Dave Pyre. Chelsea, can you just go over that briefly?
So Dave submitted a replat. We discussed this briefly before about the city taking ownership of Garden Drive up there. Right now it is privately owned along with the trailers and all the houses that sit there. He would like to sell them individually, so he did a replat to section them off as all separate lots so that they could be sold individually, as well as a 33-foot easement right away, turning ownership over of Garden Drive to the city. So this went to planning and zoning. A public hearing was held. They approved it to go to the commission. So now if the commission approves it, these will all be separated out, allowing him to sell them off individually. The city will take ownership of Garden Drive. I did have it noted in there that the city will not assume ownership for the water and sewer infrastructure, because I think that's very important. So everybody is aware of that. That will still be privately owned. The city will not assume those responsibilities, but we will take ownership of the street if you guys so choose.
Okay, thank you. Good explanation.
What's the width of that again, Chelsea?
33 feet.
33 feet?
Yep.
So I do have a question on
Sure.
that. So then if we assume that ownership, then we would be responsible for, what, it would be distributed how, the cost on those, the specials later? Is that,
Well, it depends if and when the city would do anything with that. There is potential that it would need some gravel. That would be kind of a small cost. There's alleys that the city has to gravel already. If it were to ever be curb and gutter, paved, all that, 50% of that assessment would go to those homeowners that touch it. 50% would go outside, distributed just like we have in the past. Assuming with the policy that's put in place and the committee decides on that, that is the normal of what we're following now. I can't speak for further commissions, but that would be the policy. And if and when the city were to decide to do anything with that.
So what's going on right now, and I want to thank Mr. Pyre, is he's allowed the public to use this private road. And for EMS, law enforcement, you know, and then also for some people call it Hidden Park, you know. I think it's officially Meadowbrook Park. I believe it's been named way in the past, but it's so hidden that a lot of people don't know where it is
yeah,
because of the hedge. When we get in, if we get a motion to move forward under discussion, I have a little bit more to bring up. But.
okay.
So any.
So he was trying to sell this all as one, wasn't he?
Correct.
That's
one
right,
point in
yeah.
time.
Yes. Yeah, but he thought it would be better off if he could sell
Sell
them
them
individually.
individually.
Yep, so he did.
Because some people already live there. They'll probably wanna buy, maybe interested in buying wherever they're living.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he's for sure. I think he had one interested buyer of buying one. So allowing him, instead of selling them as a whole, he can sell them individually then, keeping the trailer court for himself.
Okay. So I will make a motion to approve the Parkway Second Edition offer of the street from Dave Pyre.
I'll second it.
Okay. Discussion? The only issue I've talked with Jamie, because he's on streets, is the on-street parking for the park. And I'm hoping that the city commission can work with the park board on developing an idea in order to establish parking for the park there. And when we get into portfolios, we'll discuss that more. But
So they're not parked on the road necessarily, they're parked down like in the ditch or something,
right,
so they're off the road.
Right.
yeah. If we can, work together on something, but we'll talk about that when we get into portfolios. I don't wanna get off track. So is there any more discussion?
I guess parking was the only thing I was thinking of, cause it's kind of a tight little street, so.
I guess, you know, what the sewer is directly underneath the houses now, if I
Mhm.
understand that right.
Yeah.
And then
Water and sewer.
By taking it over, I mean, this would be an expense down the road, but if you took it over, at least you'd have a way to get the individual property owners away to sewer, you know, and not through another person's property.
Yeah.
Down the road.
Okay. Any more discussion?
I did have a question.
Sure.
So, because it is currently, all of this is currently privately owned by them.
Mhm.
The 33 easement, that's only for this lot one, is that right? On the map?
No,
Is that what that is? Because that says 33.
no, these are individuals, so it would be all,
So there's this one
yeah,
here, but
yeah,
there's, okay.
yeah.
So this is the 33,
correct.
and then we have all of these broken up here. And these would have their own.
These are just imaginary lot lines,
Right.
where it used
For
to
the
be.
properties?
Yeah.
Okay. So the way it was before is that when he tried to sell individual, he couldn't sell them?
Yeah, because of the street,
Okay, got it.
in order to,
Okay, that's why I just wanted to make sure I understood that.
no, that's fine. Thank you for pointing that out. Okay, any more discussion? Brandon?
Yes.
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 And yes.
All right.
Thank you. Number 10, jar tester replacement. Adam's not here, so,
No, so he submitted all his stuff with descriptions. The jar tester that they currently have is very old and basic, so they are due to upgrade with something a little bit easier to work with and has some quality of the life features. The one he has found here that he's recommending, it has a digital display for motor speed and timers, and it's part of a bigger planned lap upgrade for 2027. But upgrading this now would cause an expense later, and it would really help with some of the testing that they have to do. It is, the cost for the whole unit is $4,745.
thank you. I will make a motion to approve the purchase of the jar tester.
I'll second it.
Thank you. Any more discussion? Brandon?
Yes.
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 And yes. Thank you. Okay, equipment to be put out on bids.
Okay, so I printed off for you guys the general title, the auction number. These have not gone live yet, they're just in held, but we are using public surplus, and we are going to try to just put out a public auction for these right now. We have our old sewer jetter, to see if we can get rid of that, an old pickup, that John Deere tractor, and that old tar kettle. Right now, the initial price on here is our minimum bid. Those can be increased, decreased if you guys think they should be maneuvered. And then we can set a start date for those and an ending time, and it'll all be done online for people to go on and bid, and hopefully then we could get rid of some of this stuff. But we have this, sewer jetter at 500, the sweeper unit at 500, that old green Ford at 100 for the John Deere tractor tiller and the spray attachments, and then that asphalt tar kettle at 2,000.
And then is everything gonna state if it's in running order or not? And
It
then-
does, yes. Those are more in the descriptions, like I know that green pickup Adam has does not run, that's pretty much a sell as is.
Okay.
Zach said it does run, but I'm not really sure, but yeah, the whole descriptions are in there, this is just the general
Okay,
clear thing of what you can see, but if you click on them, you'll get more of the description of what they all are. But if we could just get approval to put them out for bid, and I guess if you guys agree with the initial price, if not, we can increase or decrease that.
thank you. Does anybody have any thoughts on the starting price for the bid?
Yeah, I don't know if, I mean, if somebody, enough people want them, I guess they're just gonna go up,
They're gonna,
you know, but.
is this gonna be a sealed bid? So it's, or is this gonna be an auction bid?
It'll be like an auction bid.
Oh,
And so then once it's approved, we can put them all out there and we can set it for X amount of days.
okay.
If there's a preference on that, I guess too, what you guys wanna do. Otherwise, we can put it out there and if we need to go and re-up it, we can if nobody bids on it, or maybe look at it then and decrease the price or
Yeah.
see what,
What do you put them on auction at?
this public surplus, it's in,
It's just like a website or?
yep,
So private and municipalities can both bid on this, and so it's, everybody can bid on it?
yes, yep,
Correct me if I'm wrong, Chelsea, but if we have our minimum bid and that is met, then we can then say, oh, we're not gonna sell it, correct?
great.
I believe that's how
Yes.
that works.
I don't know, should that jetter truck go up to 2,000 or 3,000? And that sweeper, somewhat the same thing, that pickup 500 and that
The tractor,
tractor 300 at least?
you wanna
I-
form that into a motion separately, or what would be best, Chelsea? Or to just do it all in one?
Maybe probably just talk about it a little bit more first.
Sure.
Yeah.
And form it up at the end, yeah.
Okay,
And if they don't sell, then you just relist them again when the time's out, or?
Yep, we can keep them going, we can, and then work with the initial price.
It's almost easier to, I guess, start high and then go down, right?
mm,
Let's get started, yeah. What's the usual listing
I
time?
don't know.
A week? 2 weeks?
I think 30 days.
Was it 30 days?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
okay. But I would say I agree with Jamie and to raise a couple of those bigger items. Because once, if our bid is too low, then we're stuck at that price, so. If not, we could always try to resell it and then lower the starting bid.
Yeah, I mean, it just sits here. It's already sitting here, so
Yeah.
not a big deal.
Mhm.
I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
Should it make that to a motion, you think? then?
Yeah, once you, run some numbers by Chelsea and then
Okay,
form
so-
that into a motion.
So would we say 2 or 3 for the jetter truck?
3, why not?
3. And then that sweeper, we're gonna say, you wanna say, I guess I haven't looked at that. That's kinda unique to that Unimog, isn't it? Or is that?
I think that's where it was placed.
Yeah, it looks actually pretty cool from the picture, but
Mm.
You talking about the top one?
it
Ah,
doesn't,
the
it doesn't
middle
need a
one.
paint job, does it?
Schwartz,
Anybody know?
This one.
yeah.
I mean, it even looks like a lot of metal
Seems-
for $500.
Seems like that might
Irrespective of
be
what it actually
pretty,
does. So,
like
think
2,800 or something?
maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, 2,800 for that.
Okay.
Pickup 500,
Yeah, at least, cause you can go to Johnson and just drop them for that.
cause that's ones, you're saying not running or maybe?
It's not running, but it
I don't
actually-
think so, no.
But the body
And
of
it's
it looks.
pretty tore up, the front, the inside of it's pretty tore up.
Oh, the inside, okay.
You wanna say that guard tracker 500? I mean, does that runs or does not very?
I don't think very well.
Is there anything else?
But then we don't have any, that tiller and that spray tank attachments won't go to anything else, so that's why we're just selling it with it.
Well, that tiller's gotta be worth something, the John Deere tiller, it's gotta be worth something.
Sure.
Maybe with all the attachments, maybe like you said, the 500 would be fair.
500 for the John Deere.
'Cause even if the tractor doesn't do it, the rest of it.
I would say if we leave a 200 for the Ford F-150 because of the condition inside.
I mean, I'm fine with that.
We usually get 500 at Johnson's for the trucks, don't you?
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
I
maybe
don't
Well,
add
is the
on-
body of it pretty,
Someone could haul it for
pretty
300
decent,
bucks.
or is it just the inside? I mean, I understand the inside part, but.
I think,
Does it state how many miles
it
are on it?
yeah, that's all in there.
What year is it?
2001, 2001.
Johnson's are gonna give you about $120 a ton.
Okay.
Gotcha. So 250 maybe?
Okay.
Just start it there. If it's not really in good condition, it'll be a very specialty customer to come pick that one up.
Mhm. And then what about the asphalt tar kettle?
Probably stay there, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I don't know much about them.
Okay,
Does it still work?
I think so,
Oh.
yeah. I
Yeah,
think they used it for this other one, yeah.
it's got its moments.
It's finicky, yeah.
It's very
Right.
finicky.
Alright. Keep that one there then.
okay, Chelsea, can you give us a update on the prices and then we can form that into a motion?
3,000 for the sewer jetter, 2,800 for the sweeper, 250 for the Ford, 500 for the John Deere tractor with attachments, and 2,000 for the tar kettle.
Jamie, you wanna form that into a motion?
Sure. I'll make a motion, we increase the minimum bids, by the following, the sewer jetter to 3,000, the street sweeper to 2,800, the Ford F-150 to 250, the garden tractor to 500, and, keeping the asphalt kettle where it's at 2,000.
I second.
I make an amendment to just add on that the listings will be for 30 days,
Yes.
Oh, sure.
and that needs a second.
I can second
If
that.
someone wants to second it, I'm not telling you to.
I'll
but-
second it. It's okay.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna vote on the amendment first. Brandon
Yes.
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 and yes. Okay, now we're gonna vote on the actual, list to put towards auction. Brandon?
Yes.
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 Yes. Thank you. All right, WTP pump parts.
Okay, so they need to order some parts for pump maintenance at the water treatment plant. In total, the cost is going to be $4,281.38 before shipping charges. The pump package itself for the raw pumps is $40 per pump, with the bronze bearing below packing is the $95 per pump. And then the mechanical seal and gasket kit is the $4,011.38. Shipping charges extra, all the parts are in stock, so it'll be that $42.81.38 plus shipping.
I have a question for you, Chelsea. Who installs these parts?
Adam,
Himself?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
He's done it before.
these ones he does himself.
All
I
right,
have a question about where are they coming from? Are they in US? Or are they like shipping from overseas? Do we know? Like how
that they're
expensive?
US parts.
Usually they are, I'm not sure where these ones are coming from.
That they are in stock and they're not in danger of going out?
When he looked yesterday, when he got me this quote, they were all in stock.
Okay. Thank you. That was my question.
I don't have it in front of me, Chelsea, but is the supplier named?
Nope, it just says it's a Flowserve Durco pump.
Okay.
at the water treatment plant is where it needs that.
I know back about 15 years ago when we started replacing all those pumps and parts, I know there, for our grant at the time, we had to purchase US made items. So I think that's still current.
Okay.
That's what I'm assuming, so. I will make a motion to, purchase these pump parts as needed.
I'll second it.
Is there any other questions? Okay, Brandon?
Yes.
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 And, oh, I'm sorry. Yes. I got ahead of myself.
Okay.
See? Okay, hiring of lawyer, the model ordinance review. Chelsea?
So, gosh, almost I think a year ago, Keith started on the project of turning all our ordinances and putting them into a model ordinance. If you've ever tried to look up our ordinances, they're old. Some of them need to be outdated, and there's no rhyme or reason for the numbering. So earlier in 2025, we got the model ordinance from League of Cities. Keith started working on that and moving all our ordinances over into match this model ordinance. Erica has done a great lot of work with that over the last month. But now we're kind of stuck on how to proceed with doing this. I don't know, well, I need somebody to review them to make sure what our ordinances and going into the model ordinance are matching. And how we adapt that, also how we have to, if we have to publish fees. There are some ordinances where it states a fee could be charged up to a certain amount, and we are changing all of those to a certain amount so that they become enforceable by our sheriff's department and they can do something about them. By having up to, it really doesn't give them the latitude to go and enforce those ordinances. All fines have to be published in the paper, so I don't know for sure what that will look like. And then I guess just making sure that we're within line of how we can adapt that, because we know readings have to take 2 readings. Do we have to read it all? Do we have to? What is that going to look like? So I got in touch with, his name is Nathan. He works for Cooperative Legal Services. Eric actually had recommended him to me. He works with other cities. Obviously, he has not worked with the city of Washburn. He does not know our ordinances, but he works with other cities, other ordinances. A lot of times we just copy cities' ordinances, and so he'll have some idea. So when I talked to him last week, I guess he needs to know what the scope that the city's looking for so we can get an engagement letter written up. Is it just going to be per hour? Do we want to put a maximum amount on it? So I guess he knows where to drop his engagement letter, and then the kind of work, the in-depth of what he will be doing. So I guess I'm looking for approval to work with him, and kind of a starting dollar amount of if we want to do it by hour, or if we want to put a cost on it right away and then revisit it when he's exceeded that expense and kind of see where we're at, so we can
Can
get
you say
started with
about
that.
What it would be per hour?
No, because he hasn't worked, he's not really sure, just because he hasn't really worked with us, so without looking at it and digging in to see what we have. I told him that any changes you did make, you made notes of. Any changes that Erica has made, she's made notes of. So we'll give him a lot of that to like read through, and so that he knows what he's looking at. But I mean, it's kind of extensive of a project, so.
Does he have just a flat retainer fee or anything like that?
I'm assuming that will be in the engagement letter, but yeah, in order to be able to get that drawn up, he's just looking for direction from what the commission is really kind of looking to spend and how, like,
So what our budget is, we're not necessarily giving him the latitude, like we say, yes, you can
Correct.
spend that much money. Okay,
correct, yep.
Sure,
We just, so he knows how to draw up that engagement letter and what our scope of service will be.
yeah. So I guess what is this project worth to us is kind of the question. Like some of the benefits are people would be able to search the ordinances. They're much better categorized. They're updated, more enforceable, and kind of in a neater package, which makes it in the future more editable as well. Because just with how it is, it's basically like a big ordinance that says this is an ordinance that comes with all these other ones. That's why it's an enacting ordinance, because you're enacting all the others. But I don't know. Like,
Does he have a way to give us like how he likes to do it, so that we can have an idea of how it would turn out, like, I don't know if he could do that without,
Like,
you know, like a sample of how
Well, he
he
wouldn't
would
be
write it?
changing it. What we're giving him is what we want him to search through and approve.
Okay,
We have the whole outline.
Okay.
We don't want that changed. Cause we're changing it right now from all like single individual ordinances. So 142, 116, to all put it into like per se a book.
okay,
I don't want that changed. So we're just taking all those and putting them into this book where there'll be all sectioned out. All in one.
so subcategories, put in
Yes.
their proper
It
places.
will read more like the century code.
Okay,
So how many pages are approximately are in our ordinance book right now?
340-ish, 350-ish, I think.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It took me 18 hours to like actually read it and kind of go through it, so I'm sure he'd be a little bit faster maybe. So, I don't know.
Well, thank you for doing that.
Yeah. But
My concern is, you know, if he charges per page or
That's
whatever,
nice.
and then that could,
well, no, we're telling him what we could afford. So we could say
right.
you could do 15 hours up to a max of 10,000, just as an example.
Mhm.
But so we have to kind of determine what would our valuation of that service be.
Mhm.
So, and then he will be like, $5,000. Well, for $5,000, I can do this. Is my understanding.
Correct.
Right.
Yep.
So, what's it worth to us? I guess is the big question. Is it worth it to us? I mean, it's been 50, no more than that, like 70 years of just a hairball rolling down the hill,
Well,
sort of thing.
will
Like,
it mostly
what's the
save our
price?
time because of all of to try and find it, get it all done?
Hmm?
It would be more so of a time saver for us, for you,
For a lot of things, people call for questions. It's just easier to
direct
read,
them to
much
where
better
they
put
can see.
together.
Plus, some of our ordinances have not been updated since the 1800s. Like
Yeah.
we have talking about horses and buggies in town still.
Chickens and pigs.
I mean, they were important at their time.
was there a way to do it in two levels, like, you know, how much would he charge us to review what we have and kind of get a scope of work? And then could he turn in a price, you know, like, not ask
I
him to do
would-
anything for free, but can he
Yeah.
look at the overview and just kind of see what he's getting into and then give us a price from there
Mhm.
that we could accept?
'Cause
Possibly, yeah. I guess he wanted the direction from us of what we want him to do. So
So-
he knows what he's doing.
Do we have a
Sure,
scope
okay.
of work?
Here's what I want him to
drafted?
do. I have what I want him to do. I want him to just review the changes as written, the legality of changing and enacting this, the procedure of enacting this, to include does it need to be all published? Does it all need to be read? And then also, that's what I like to think of for now. I don't know if there'll be more. And then with, this is where you guys can change it, or you can change the whole thing if you want. Maximum budget of $6,000 or 12 hours, whichever comes first.
Start somewhere.
Maybe that's too cheap. I don't know what
And
lawyers
that
cost,
seems
but-
like it might be, but let me do some math.
I know
I'd be like $500.
some of the public might raise the question of why are we looking outside for an attorney when we have a city attorney?
Because he does not want to do it.
Right, and that's what I wanna
Sure.
bring up, that's. for-
I went to him first.
Correct, yeah, I just wanna put that out on the table, so, since the public is watching and if people have that concern that we haven't looked into that, so. Yeah, Chelsea explained it to me, but I just wanna make sure that's
So what
on the table, so.
So that'd be my motion on the table. We should probably do something with that first, second, or let it tie, I guess.
And I'll second your motion. Is there any other, discussion?
We guys think about the amount.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
that's, I was gonna say if we offer $16 an hour, okay,
16?
16,
Up to 300 hours,
or
yeah.
just, I know, hang on,
Yeah.
or up to $8,000.
Okay,
Because that is technically the same equation if you do the math. But then that way, you guys have enough time and he has enough time to work with you guys. Cause this would be, and so if I look at this ratio wise, you had said 6,000
Mhm.
or, did I hear that right? It was 12
12
hours?
hours of work.
12 hours of work.
Yeah, yeah, so I didn't know if we could really limit his hourly wage. That
Right,
kind of sounded
so,
like, we'll request this amount of services from you, or this maximum dollar amount of services from you, was my kind of thought, I guess,
Okay.
but.
so that's
Um,
why I was wondering, cause like, well, when I did the math, that mathed out.
Mhm.
So if we did 8,000 at the cap, at the top,
Yeah,
and then you have, then it would be the same ratio as what you're proposing, but it would also allow for the extra existential that he may run into with Chelsea or with you. So he
I
can't
mean,
go over that. you know.
right. I mean, it could be a good starting point, like, because my assumption is that then he would come back, well, for that offer, I'd be able to review the whole thing or whatever. Or like, okay, well, I can get through half of it, that's a big thing, and what are all these notes, who wrote this, you know?
But it would be something we
So-
could present with him. I think that's more
Mhm.
reasonable because
Mhm.
I've seen a little bit more of the liturgical side has gone up like everything else
Sure,
with inflation. So that's just my thought.
what do you think about for a dollar amount then?
Well, I would say up to 8,000. That would be a
8,000?
good, that would be a good capping, because if you have, and then, or have it as, well, I know that everybody's driven by the dollar amount, but 8,000 would be, I think, the most reasonable. If you have over 18 hours that you put in,
Mhm.
and if you think about that, like, I'm gonna do some math here again. Cause I mean, I'm just saying, if it's $500 an hour,
Mhm.
you put in 18 hours,
Mhm.
that's $9,000. So if you do, so if I do this same math,
Mhm.
if I put in here, if I put in and have $8,000 as a cap for an experienced person to go in and look at this,
Mhm.
I think that that's doable, but it's also doable that he could do a lot more, a lot quicker, and he would get to it quicker. So
Yeah.
there is the incentive, okay, I would do that. You know, if I was an attorney, that's what I would do. So, but that's just
Right.
me, I'm not an attorney, so.
Well, yeah, I mean, I did most of the monkey business. Like, I had to bring these old scans of PDFs into Google Docs, which then used AI to extract the words, and I read the words against the words and made sure they matched and stuff. So all that is done. So he should be able to be like, oh, okay, boop, boop, boop. I think he'd be able to just kind of go through it instead of like, here's all our junk, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's getting a good starting point, and especially with all the changes that were made, and with all the up tos of putting a dollar amount on those, which there again, yeah, is the biggest thing of how do we go ahead and publish those.
Are we gonna need an amendment to Keith's motion
What
or
was my
not?
dollar amount? I don't remember.
6,000 or 12 hours,
I
yeah.
think 8 would probably be better, like she said.
Well, I don't wanna see, like, that was a lot of hard work you put in, so I don't wanna see it go to waste, but the question he had, wasn't it, is what you wanted him to do? Was the original question the lawyer was stating, isn't that?
Yeah, he wants to know the scope as well as billing. So I need him to go in and review these and tell me, yes, it's right. We can do it this way. Now to make it enforceable and read it. So do we have to publish all the fines? Because any ordinance that you change a fine has to be published for 2 weeks. Any ordinance, do we have to read it through? Because they have to have 2 readings. So now we're getting to that point of we have it all laid out. What do we do with it next? And how do we move forward? So Keith did a lot of the work, but I need him to go and review them to make sure that we're putting them over into this ordinance correctly, and then how do we put it into effect?
What was my motion? What was my motion?
It was to, you motion to have the scope of work be to review the changes as written, the legality of changing it, the procedure of enacting it with a maximum budget of $6,000 or 12 hours.
And part of that is that we aren't having him review the legality of every single ordinance. That'd be a much wider scope, and that's why he's wondering about this. He's like,
Right.
you want me to go through all those, you know?
Because if we
Ooh,
change the
huge.
wording, so like one of them per se, our state says that you can sell alcohol at noon on Sundays or at 8 a.m. on Sundays. Our city ordinance still says noon. well, we're gonna change it going forward now that we're doing all this to 8 a.m. So what does that look like for us? Do we have to list that all out individually? Do these all have to publish in the paper individually?
Okay.
Like, how can we go and do that? Cause here's all our changes that we made instead of changing all our fines. So how can we put this over there? Because it is, I mean, Keith did a lot of the legwork. I just need an attorney to review it to make sure that it's
In the
what
right
we
time.
need.
Yeah, and we don't necessarily need to check the legality of if I change some of the ordinance or whatever, because if I changed something, it was from another lawyer at the League of Cities. So basically, it was like everything we had, and then the League of Cities had model ordinances, which you could find like fire code, and then over here, fire code, and then this would be written more recently by 2 different lawyers. So I would just go copy, paste. You know what I mean? Because I didn't want to mess with it. I'm just being honest. I didn't, oh yeah, and then here on this day we did this. No, I didn't do none of that. But and if I did, it's in the notes. But yeah, so that was the goal, was try and keep all that done by a lawyer. You know what I mean? And then it's just like, now we did it. Check this out. How do we enact it now? It's kind of where it's at. So.
Do we have a scope of work typed up to give to them right now, like in, on
Maybe the
paper?
motion, that motion that you just read.
But we didn't, before the motion, we didn't have anything. I mean, so should we circle back and like make a scope of work, everything I just explained, but like type it out to give to him? And then, you know, X amount of money to review. If there's one to take it on, if he is, then here's the bid price from him, what it would take him to do. 'Cause
And that's kind of what's in the motion there. So in that motion, I was somewhat vague in it because I didn't, first of all, I don't remember. It was like 9 months ago of what exactly was changed. I could look at my notes, I guess, but also then that gives him the leeway to be like, okay, well, they want to see the legality, and then they can, okay, well, that's how you do this. I don't know how he does that. So I can't be necessarily like, well, it must be attached at this point, and if it's amended here, then please check this one against this one and that sort of thing. You know, I don't know how to do that. So I think this would be a good starting point, maybe, where we'd be at, so.
And we can't change an ordinance without having 2 readings, so even if you change 3 words, what does that mean? Like, I don't know, you know, cause we're going to this streamlined one, and we have 100 and some ordinances.
And you said it has to be done twice, is that correct?
In order, right now, to change an ordinance, it goes through 2 readings, yes,
Okay.
Public, you know.
but I
Got
don't,
it.
yeah, so.
produce it.
not a fan of leaving like an open check out there for, you know, work till this and then you run out of money and then is he halfway done then at that point?
No, he's gonna come back with what he's gonna do with
Yeah.
that offer.
Yeah.
So we aren't telling him to do anything, we aren't approving any payments, we're doing nothing like that. Here's what we'd like you to do, here's our budget to work with that, he might come back with, okay, well, I need 10 grand for that, or I need 15 for that, or for 6 grand, yeah, I can accomplish all that, you know what I mean? So I guess theoretically, we might be like leaving too much meat on the bone if it was like too big of an offer, but
Mhm.
and that's why I asked what I did right away was, what is it worth it to us? Because that's obviously the valuation of something in an economy is like, what would a customer pay for it, not necessarily some sort of raw material or whatever it is. But so that's kind of something to consider. What is it worth to us? 8 grand seems somewhat reasonable.
I think the 8 grand is a better number
know?
because of we're dealing with not just the changes that we need to have enacted, but then there's the procedural side. And so like he has to help give us the clarification here, do this and this and this, and that's not a bad thing because that 8,000 should, in theory, because at least in the math world, it works out better.
We asked
Yeah.
Eric,
Did you say that it was 12 hours or 6 grand, whatever comes first, right?
yeah,
Okay.
So he's gonna have his rate, whatever that might be.
Okay.
And I think Nate, the things that, the main points that you want him to review, I think if you give that information to him, he's gonna be able to come back to you guys and say, yes, I can do that much in this amount of time.
Okay.
I think he could do that. Like, one thing that comes to my mind right away is, if you have this ordinance of 450 pages, is it legal to have a printed copy of it at City Hall for people to come see, or post a link in the city's website for people to click on and go look and read? I mean, you can't feasibly print off all of that and put it in the paper, that's not possible.
Right.
You'd have a paper like a phone book.
Yeah.
So, that's the question that would be to Nate that I think he could answer. You know, what's the
Practical.
feasibility, because this has to have been done before. There's communities that have updated their ordinances in mass where.
And
they have
he's
that many
told me
pages.
he started from scratch from one other city.
Oh,
So he's
okay.
like, I've
Yeah,
worked with it. Obviously, he hasn't worked with us, so he hasn't seen our ordinances. But I mean, he has started from scratch with other cities to create all of them. So we're giving him a template, which will be a little bit easier.
yeah, I think the way that he proposed it, and that you want him to look at the legality of making the changes, and how the city would enact those, and what's required by the city to make those changes, I think he could come back with a realistic hourly, like I need this many hours to go.
Like a
through that.
counter.
Yeah,
Okay.
he would be able to, and if you wanna put a 12-hour limit on it or whatever, I think that's completely fine. I
Or
don't,
should we even put a dollar amount in it? I mean, I think the biggest thing is the scope of work of saying what we want or what we're asking for. I mean, do you even put a dollar amount in it?
it's up to you guys.
Well, maybe, cause then you might scope it back a little bit of like, well, I could do this for that, and then, so I can get all enacted, but I can't review all this stuff for that price.
I mean, I
So, I don't know.
think we should pay him some for his time to review it and kind of take it seriously, but then he builds up a scope of work from there, like how much mass that would be for him to do. And, you know, so it'd like be a two-tier price, like, okay, for me to review it and kind of put something together, it's this much, and then to do the whole projects, it's this much.
Right. That actually makes sense to me, yeah.
Okay, so then we can amend the motion where if it exceeds this amount, please let us know the total amount?
Well, I think pay him something to review the scope of work, I think we need to have a scope of work, very detailed, you know, and then here's what we don't know, and then please give us a price to review the scope of work and give us a price for the bigger package,
Yeah.
for the
I
bigger
like that.
completed deal.
And once he sees what he's dealing with, he should be able to.
Well, yeah, like you say, if you go into a home inspection, somebody asks you to do, a realtor asks you to do a home inspection. You go in there, you get paid X amount to do the home inspection, and that's this amount. Okay, here's all the things that's not safe in your house. And then you come back and you give another price to fix those things.
Mhm.
That's exactly what we're doing here.
I like that.
That's a good
good.
way of.
So maybe we could ask him to develop a scope of work from the scope of work that I gave him, cause I don't really know how to go deeper than that. And then, so then we can start there, cause then he'll come back to what you're talking about, like the home inspector price. So we could say, build us a full-fledged scope of work from this list. of
Well, I think
things.
we should make the scope of work or whatever we're asking for, so he has an outline, he's not just like, well, what are you asking here?
Well, that
You know?
is the.
I think that's what he gave him.
Yeah.
That's what I did in the motion, yeah.
But do we wanna take a little time and do that a little further, is there any more?
It's been cooking for a while, yeah, and I don't really know necessarily, like, I guess I could build like an outline that might have a few subheadings, but then I'm gonna miss stuff, like, I don't know what to do in this, and that's why I'm just being vague, well, why, you know, if you have it's all characterized, it's just A, B, C, D, I'm not going into the italics and that sort of thing. Like, it's just the big picture, here's what we'd like to do, tell us how to get there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know beyond that, like, what, I've never done this before, obviously, so, I think we'd be fine starting here and seeing what he comes back with, unless you wanna add something on, like, so if this would not cover it, then please let us know what would cover
Right.
it,
Mhm.
if that's what you're kinda talking about, cause then he doesn't come back with like, no, you know, and then we can kind of still be in contact.
And
with
we
him.
still have to sign the engagement letter for this to even go through.
Okay.
He's just wants to know how to prepare that for us to sign that to move forward by
Yeah.
giving him what we're looking for.
Cause I think we'll get to where you wanna be after this engagement letter. That's
Okay.
kind of basically, at the point of fishing, we're throwing it into the lake at this point, like it's still traveling through the air. It does not hit, we don't know if the bait's working, but when it hits, then we can see what bites and what sniffs, right? And then we'll kind of be closer, so.
Okay.
Yeah,
This is an amount just for the engagement letter.
for the scope of work.
For the
To-
scope,
To
yeah,
do
yeah.
an engagement letter,
In-
and then, once
Correct.
we're engaged, we can see how the tussle breaks out, but,
Mhm.
yeah.
And can we add at least that if this does not seem reasonable, you can come back with, like you had mentioned.
Mhm.
That would be, Because then he can be like, okay, well, I'll do this much for this, and we would actually get a gauge from him of
Mhm.
where he's at.
So I guess I'll make an amendment to that motion. If this amount is not satisfactory, pretty please inform us of a better plan of action to accomplish these legal goals.
Your adjustment.
Yep, your adjustment.
And I'll second that.
Okay. Okay, any more discussion on the amendment? If not, we're gonna vote on the amendment first. Brandon?
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay, now we're gonna vote.
Sorry, just one more thing. I'm gonna tell a little story, I guess.
Okay.
So how this kind of came about, remember City of Cavalier? Like, we went to this training long time ago. And it was when we first got elected here, and the city of Cavalier was there giving a presentation on ordinances and stuff. She had this nice little book up there, and it's like, whoa, well, look at this. You remember that? We went to, yeah, it's at the Heritage Center. We're like, what is this? This is so crazy. And we've always kind of talked about that. Like, how do you get to this? And then somehow we connected on that. And then but when I'm doing this comparison, guess who I have up? City of Cavalier. Guess where they got all their nice book? This League of Cities, the exact same one I used, right? So it's like this really cool kind of put together thing that we could have. That we
Yeah,
were,
because they just came out with
Yeah.
a new one.
Mhm.
And that's, as soon as that new one came out is when we started working on it. Because they were just finalized updating it. So there is the most recent one for them with the most recent up to date, which also follow Century Code and any legislative changes that has gone into effect with this one too. So
Chelsea, do you have
Yeah.
contacts with anyone at Cavalier? Anyone at the city?
actually, I think we just got an email from somebody through Cavalier
Maybe it'd be
with our
worth,
listserv.
be worth reaching out to them and asking them about that nice book that they have put together and.
How much
seeing
it cost
they-
them?
How
seeing
they
how they-
enacted it.
Yeah.
Seeing how they came about getting into the product that it's at.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they would be willing to talk to you for a while on that and help you out.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Because I know for sure with League of Cities, like it was literally the same.
Mm-hmm.
And she brings up a great point that this then puts us kind of on the update track of
Yeah.
easily updated ordinances. 'Cause it's like, okay, Century Code, well, guess who's coming out with it? League of Cities. Well, it plugs nicely into this League of Cities framework that we have here instead of like, what did that say? Oh, it's a scanned PDF with a mud boot on it. You know what I mean? It's just like, it's easier. But
No, I for sure wanna see it go through. I just, how to implement it and not turn here, just keep working till you're done and like, oh, yeah, we worked this far and then we didn't complete it. So I mean, I'm just, yeah, I mean, should a guy go back to Cavalier and ask them? Or like you said, I mean, should a guy?
I think it'd be well worth asking somebody from the city if you guys have a contact there, just say, hey, you guys had a great well put together ordinance book. Tell me
What it
more on
cost.
how you got that.
And then, in the meantime, work up a little bit of scope of work of how far you've gotten it, kinda like your little, not like a whole, whatever, but like a scope of work or a general index of, the work you've done,
Okay, yeah, make an amendment to my motion in between the original motion and the first amendment. No, it's good, it's good. It's
No,
really, really
go
good.
ahead. Keith.
That you would also review the submitted notes and the legality of any additions or corrections.
That makes sense.
Cause
I'll second that amendment.
we didn't have anything about our notes before, so that's a good point, Jamie.
I didn't even think about that, to be honest. I just figured you.
Okay.
I just assumed you do it, but yeah, we should ask him to do
Okay,
that.
we're gonna vote on the second amendment. Brandon?
Yes.
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 And yes. Okay, and then to vote on the primary, motion. And that cost is still at 6,000, correct?
Oh, we gotta do a fourth amendment. Hey, this might be a record.
This
of
is a
amendments.
record.
Okay, let's just go for it. Let's go to 5. Someone think of something quick.
Oh,
We make another motion to change the maximum dollar amount to 8,000 instead of 6.
And I'll second that.
And that 8,000 is to do what? Like, but that's not,
that's our cap.
and then after that, he's gotta see if he's gonna accept it or not.
Mm-hmm.
He sends back what he can do for that kind of thing.
Like this is.
And we would still have to sign that engagement letter.
So we're not spending any money yet.
Correct.
but-
This
Okay.
gets the ball rolling then, so that we
Yeah.
actually can get to work on it. And
Yeah.
we'll have that maybe by next meeting, hopefully.
Okay, this vote is on the last amendment to change it from 6 to 8,000. Brandon?
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay, for the primary, motion that Keith made, and I believe I seconded it. I think, but is there any more discussion on that? If not, Brandon?
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay, let's move on. Okay, 14, 2025 water usage and cost.
Okay, so Adam presented his breakdown of all the raw water gallons, the treated gallons, the waste gallons. Our total sales to McLean Sheridan is in there. And a few years back, we had talked about, I think 10% was what was agreed upon. McLean Sheridan would pay for any updates to the water treatment plant or major repairs or anything like that. And then we decided to change that, I think roughly 2-ish years ago, that their percentage would be based off of their previous year sales. So you can see that the percentage of total would be 16.36. So their percentage of paying for anything if we would need help with the upgrades would be the 16% for 2026 based off 2025's percentage. You can see the total chemical cost, utility cost, the cost per gallon. I guess just information, you can see where the water goes for every month, what's being used there. He even broke it down for chemical costs and then all the utility costs for that as well. And then the wages that go factored into the water treatment plant, so. Well, I guess if you guys have any questions on that. It's kind of more just for, we can see where our water treatment plant's at.
Chelsea, how has that fluctuated over the years, the last couple of years? Has it been always between 10 and 16%?
Yeah, so it actually, I think 2025 they were at 12% or 14, so it's gone up a little bit of what they're using. And we decided to do that when we actually looked into it a few years ago when we were doing budgeting stuff, that they were increasing, where their percentage was more than the 10%. So I don't know how we came up with that, and then when I had emailed Ann with McLean Sheridan, she said she was fine with being used on their cost, their usage for the previous year for the following year then. Yeah.
Makes it equitable.
Yeah.
Chelsea, how is our system working for collection of fees? Is that everyone is, on our water usage for our water bills? Are we running into delinquent of payments and stuff like that?
We have some. It varies from month to month. Anybody who has a water bill 60 days or more receives a delinquent letter every month, so typically then they pay that, but
And then we're staying,
yeah, or at
Current
least they
with-
pay on them. For the most part, yes.
okay,
There's
good.
nothing of major concern.
okay, thank
I
you.
guess of the bill, them not being paid.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure that we're.
Yeah.
Worst case, it gets assessed to the taxes, which I think we did like 3 or 4 of them a few months ago.
We did.
Yeah,
Yes.
So that's worst case. But
Yep.
yeah, but I just for
How we're doing.
clarification. Okay. And this is just, we're not voting on anything, right? This is just all informational. correct?
Right.
Okay. Is there any more discussion we need? Okay, we're gonna move on. Number 15, ordinance 142B amendment.
A few months ago, we updated our floodplain ordinance, and now they came back with an amendment. And it's just in the very first part of section 1 and 1.1, where it's the legislature of the state of North Dakota has in the North Dakota Century Code chapters 40-05, 1111, and 5806 delegated responsibility to local governmental units to adopt regulations designed to promote the public health, safety, and general welfare of its citizenry. So we updated our floodplain ordinance this last fall. We just need to enact this new amendment that just came out. Instead of an ordinance, it's just amendment of, I think there was just a couple words changed in that statutory authorization.
Okay.
And then that keeps us current so we can still be in the floodplain management certification.
Thank you for that explanation.
Sorry, real quick before I forget it, it's not completely on topic, but it's relevant to this other one. We should probably make notes of all the ordinances that we have changed or talked about changing, because the last updates I made on that model ordinance would be the liquor, after the liquor change.
Erica has all those.
She's been keeping track of all the changed ones.
Yep.
Including like this one, obviously. Okay, cool.
Yep.
Just wanted to make sure we didn't miss that.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, oops, he's been back 7 months. You know?
Yeah, no,
So,
she's been keeping her own list of changes as well.
perfect.
And a lot of them I think coincide with yours, but yeah, there are just a few. Then she's got her own list too. So,
Okay, just wanna
but
make sure
yes, I
it's-
will. I had to make sure this one was a part of that because I don't believe it was.
Mhm.
So I told her to add that this ordinance now, and obviously we'll have to include the amendment now, but in with yours as well. So she's got her list of changes too.
Sorry for the interruption. Just want
No, that's okay.
But,
Then it's all working together.
So do you need an improvement?
Yes, if you will motion to approve the amendment.
Somebody want to make a motion?
make a motion to approve the amendment as written.
A second.
Any more discussion? Brandon?
Yes.
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 And yes. Okay. Okay, proposed new spending limit, number 16.
Okay, we briefly discussed this last meeting. It went to HR. This is what we have came up with. So you can see the proposed authorized spending limits at the top. The bottom is what our current authorized spending limits are. So it just gives a little more leeway, I guess, for buying some of the maintenance stuff and repairs that we will need.
Anybody have any questions before we make a motion?
Just also notice there's the emergency section that has added, that was not there before.
Yo,
That's one thing
yes.
we discussed in the last meeting. And then also just situations, the TUA is just something to consider, but
We were
Oh, did
gonna,
not fix that?
no
We were-
worries, but.
we were supposed to have it fixed where the dollar amount of $64.99 was actually 65. And then 6501 and up, remember?
Oh, okay.
Cause that was it was just a minor error in the numbers. So,
Yep, that is what we talked about.
so we do need to adjust that. So instead it would not be 64.99, it would be 6,500. And then anything at 6501 and up would be full commission approval. Just to clarify, that's what it should say. And I don't know how to necessarily fix that on this side.
She'll make
Okay.
notes of it there.
She'll make the adjustment.
Yeah, okay.
Do you have that, Chelsea?
Mm-hmm, I do.
Okay. Somebody would like to make a motion to,
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that motion. Is there any other discussion?
Yeah, should, in that emergency situation, should the commissioner, also be in on that approval? Cause right now it's the city auditor and public's works director in emergency. Should a commissioner be in on that holds that portfolio?
I can make an amendment on
Sure.
the motion. That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, because there should be a commissioner taking some sort of
So if we-
responsibility.
Yeah,
If
'cause-
we add that 501 to 4,000 and have city auditor, public works director, and one commissioner?
No, he's talking about an emergency situation.
Emergency
This
situation.
is an
So is this
emergency.
one
So
Yep.
my question is, what if that said portfolio holder is not available?
Well, and
What do we do?
then also just a thought on that is they do have commission approval because this would be approved by this commission right now, and it would stand until these predefined things would happen. So water breaks, sewer backups, major storms, flooding, sudden power loss, or failure of essential services. So they already have the latitude by a commission, the commission, to do such things. So I guess I don't really, it's kind of a little bit redundant for them to say, hey, I know you guys approved us for major storms to have this sort of emergency spending. There's a major storm, can we have this emergency spending? You know what I mean? We're kind of pre-authorizing for the emergency situations.
Well,
Because the
yeah, but-
commissioners should be notified within the next day. And at the discretion call a special meeting. So technically speaking, they would be talking to one of the portfolio commissioners anyway.
Mhm.
After the dollar amount has been issued though.
Correct.
And then-
So you're saying at the
Up
time,
to
right?
6,500, right?
On emergency, there's no limit on emergency, is there?
I don't know. Given wide latitude,
Mm,
whatever would be wide latitude.
So if it fell into the actual dollar amount,
Wouldn't it then go more to either the president or the vice president
Yeah,
for
It's
approval?
an option, yeah.
because if that person wasn't around, yeah, would it go back up the chain of command to the president or mayor? You know, if that
Mhm.
portfolio holder wasn't available?
right?
But then it kind of links it to, you know, the people, boots on the ground, to the people who have to answer at this table as well.
Mhm.
Yep.
To the situation.
Well, if you can't get a hold of anybody in the commission, then you just wait.
That's a good point.
Well, I think you can get hold of somebody. I mean, nowadays it's cell phones. I know when I'm unavailable, like on vacation, I normally let Chelsea know, or normally I do. If I'm not gonna be available. I think everyone's available to
Well, yeah,
take a phone call.
I guess what would be a scenario where you would necessarily need that, or what would be the large funding that would be difficult? That could be way too much that these two would do, which then would cause us to answer for our recklessness of allowing such a exorbitant expenditure, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, what would be like the issue? Because I can imagine like a tree storm, you clean up the trees after. There's usually, you're able to have meetings, hey, we need this big, let's hire a contractor. So there'd be like time for meetings. Because what it is like imminent danger to people, property, or city or infrastructure. So I don't know, what would be the scenario where, first of all, we'd even need this? You know what I mean? It's not
Well,
we're in the middle of
this
the
is
street
almost-
making
this is
yeah,
almost like-
decisions.
Well, I have a
But-
comparison. So Underwood just had a major pipe break
Right.
Mhm.
where it did flooding, and I don't know all the circumstances, but I know it was a major issue to where that gives the latitude to Chelsea, Adam, to contact somebody and go, hey, we got this huge problem. We need to take drastic action right now
Mhm.
to stop it from going any further.
well, that, and then that commissioner could, you know, ask if we can have an emergency meeting too.
True.
And then,
But
if-
just for the point for them going forward
yeah,
and getting the ducks in the row and taking emergency situations.
And even in that scenario, we're gonna be looking at, I'm assuming, way more than 6,500.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so at that point, we will already be in the swing of
But-
everybody on board, checking it out.
But I agree what she said, it puts the commission active into the loop,
Mhm.
you know?
Then why not just have a special meeting? Why even have the city auditor and public works on there? Why not? want to
So
say
Easter
we're-
weekend, when we had that big water main break.
Yeah.
You're gonna have special meeting before they can get jurisdiction to fix it? I mean, that's,
Well, you-
is that
one
what you're?
Yeah.
commissioner- One commissioner is what they talk about, and I'm just wondering, I'm the one who said special meeting, they said one commissioner. So,
Yeah.
So
I
if
don't
we added that there, is that kind of what you're thinking, Jamie?
Yeah, I'm just saying you link it, you know, cause,
So that they're informed
yeah,
of anything between that 504? Is that what you're talking
well, an
about?
emergency situation.
Okay,
Cause that, you know, we had very low limits before this, right?
right, we
And then
did, we had
everything
really
had to
low.
get approved, right?
pretty
Mhm.
Pretty much had to buy anything, it had to get approved, right? Well, now we're lifting that a little bit, right?
Right.
And now, are we going so far the other way that, oh, the wind blew a leaf off the tree, let's go spend X, Y, Z, it was an emergency. Well, was it? You know,
So we could do that.
so,
Spend $17,000
So let me make,
on a pipe.
let me make him a motion for
Well,
an
yeah.
amendment.
Yes, you spent 17,000.
I didn't wanna say it, you said it.
it.
Sorry. But yes, I mean, I'm asking, cause yeah, when they, typically it's holiday weekends, like the last one we have, that's when they have the water main break. So before anything can get done, they're gonna have to call. I mean, typically the water commissioner does find out about it anyway, but they're calling to get things fixed first before we have more catastrophes.
Right. So
So,
if I can make an amendment
Okay.
to then the motion that I made, where, especially on the dollar amount side here, where it has, just city auditor and public works director, because of that range, we know that we need to add city commissioner, a city commissioner, one city commissioner to be informed.
Yep.
Preferably the portfolio commissioner, right?
Wait, are you talking about
I'm talking about this
portion?
part here, because this is where people are able to make decisions without us.
Mhm.
This
Do you
part,
see what I
yes.
mean?
Mhm.
So this is what Jamie, I think you're saying,
The
I don't know,
wires-
I don't wanna
Resources,
speak for
I
you,
think you're
so.
talking about this part. You're
Well,
doing
this is,
emergency.
it's all gonna be involved at any emergency, but that's the only dollar amount where we are not really informed.
Right,
do you see what I
under
mean?
4,000, yeah.
Well, yeah, 501 to 4,000. So if there's like, hey, we need a major piece, you know, then that way we cover all of our bases and we can actually know what's going on. So that there's nothing that falls through the cracks, like leaf blower that costs $3,000, right? Or something weird like that, right? Maybe that would kind of,
So are you saying change the
The-
second line that says city auditor,
yes.
public works director?
to include the portfolio commissioner, if possible, or a commissioner of some kind that is on. Because we need to have knowledge about what's being spent
Mhm.
in that dollar range.
yeah, I mean, if we're supposed to be answering for the budget,
Right,
I mean,
yes,
something's gotta link the, I mean, you
all
really
of that
wanna,
together.
the commission and them using their portfolio to what's happening, so.
So I think the portfolio commissioner, one of the two, or one,
Yeah, but don't wanna, well, I couldn't get this done, cause I, you know, had to go meet with him and show him, you know, so where's the fine line between people just being able to, we're lifting these limits, right, they were a lot lower before, so we're lifting them so people have the latitude to do their job,
Right.
but then still linking it between the employees and the commission.
Right.
because
you
we
know.
have a $2,500 increase, right? Isn't that right?
You are right, but what you're doing is actually decreasing them to 500 without that, because previously it was 500 to 1,500 for a staff and city auditor. So then, as he said, they can do their stuff within a normal daily limit. That would now be decreased to less than 500 unless a portfolio commissioner is contacted, which then brings you up to 4,000. So as long as we want to do that, then it'd be a good change. If we're not looking to do that, then we shouldn't do that.
Okay.
What are we trying to do? Are we trying to increase their spending limits? Or are we looking to have more oversight over the spending? Like, it can't really be both. So which one should it be, is what I'm saying.
Should be oversight.
Okay, well then let's switch the top from 500 to 4,000. Basically what he said, where it'd be city auditor and public works director
Okay.
and one commissioner with
And one
portfolio.
Okay,
Because then there'd be more oversight and less available spending as previous.
okay,
Before it was up to 1,500.
that's right.
But now with one commissioner, it can be up to 4,000.
Okay, that makes more sense, okay. So I will make an amendment. Is this the how? I'll make an amendment to, the motion to make it from our dollar amount that allows for the city auditor and the public works director and one commissioner, preferably the portfolio commissioner, for it to be from 0 to 4,000.
You
Is that
don't-
right?
You don't want them to call a commissioner to go buy a shovel unless you really wanna do that.
No, what is the
But
dollar amount that?
500, it'd be 501 to 4,000.
And is this
501
per,
to 4,000.
That'd be, yeah, this, cause if not, then, I mean, technically
So
they have
then-
to call us to fill gas.
so is this by month or is this per
Per
purchase?
purchase, yeah.
Per purchase.
Yep. Right? Isn't it by, per purchase?
It's per purchase.
Okay,
Okay.
sure.
So the point is that we're trying to add a commissioner to this dollar amount.
The 500 to 4,000.
501 to 4,000, we want to have city auditor, public works director, and one commissioner, preferably the portfolio commissioner.
And then 2 commissioners are above that, which then go up to 6,500.
Okay, that is the motion, if that makes sense.
Okay, and do we have clarification on emergency situations?
We can handle that next, maybe. So you made a motion?
I made a motion, yes.
Second.
Okay,
So the current motion to basically just add a portfolio holder or single commissioner to the 501 to 4,000 tier, we'll call it a tier.
So it doesn't have a
That's the current
loophole.
amendment that we need to vote on now.
So it
That's
now
where we're at.
creates, it
Okay.
creates more accountability for what
Just-
we're spending.
Chelsea, do you have that explanation?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
Thank you.
now we're voting on the amendment?
Yes, then.
Okay, Brandon?
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, the amendment is passed. Now we're gonna vote on the other upgrades of
The
Prices.
6501, right? Should be
6501.
So basically, third tier, the top dollar amount, 6,500. Okay, I make an amendment to change the third tier dollar amount from 64.99 to 6,500, comma, and also the fourth tier dollar amount to 6,501 and up.
I second that, because that should have been done.
Any more discussion on, that was under an amendment?
Mhm.
Okay, Brandon?
Yes.
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 Yes. And we're, so that motion passes. Are we clear on the emergency situation?
No,
that's where
because
we
we were
have to
talking about, we
work
wanted a commissioner there as well. That's what Jamie and you
Yes.
guys were talking about for sure. So
Yes.
we are not clear on that yet, no.
Do we,
Yeah, I think, well,
Wanna-
wouldn't you say, I mean, again, just linking day-to-day activities to the commission, I think you should add one commissioner to that.
And
I mean,
that,
Preferably the portfolio holder that's involved, but then if you can't get a hold of them, then any other one would suffice.
right.
Mhm.
I do
Okay.
think that that's a good idea, so we can do that as amendment as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about that.
So we have, right now we have the city auditor, public works director, they're given that latitude. So at that point, is there a time
Okay,
frame
so here
that-
you go. I think I know what you guys are talking about. Okay, emergency situations, and that's situations with an A, not an I. Both the city auditor and the public, both the city auditor, comma, public works director, comma, and a single commissioner, parentheses, preferably the portfolio holder,
Yes, that's correct.
end parentheses, are given wide latitude and then just the rest of it. So that'd be the main change there.
Okay,
I'll second that motion on the amendment.
and that way with that provides that accountability, right, Jamie?
Correct.
Okay. Any other discussion? We're gonna vote on that last amendment under emergency situations. Brandon?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. All right. And then to go forward with the proposal of the spending limits with those changes in, that are made. And the changes of authorization. that have been,
I'll make a motion then.
okay, and I'll second that motion.
Or sorry, there already is a motion.
Yeah,
So
there's
there
already,
Oh, I
there
understand.
already
Yeah,
is an
no, you guys
original
are fine.
motion.
So
Okay,
it'd basically be the motion with the 3 past amendments.
right, okay,
Okay.
thank you. I
Okay.
got lost.
Yep, no problem.
Thank you, Keith. All right, Brandon,
No.
Yes.
Yes.
and yes. All right, 17, year-end financials.
Okay, the year-end financials are presented, I guess, a couple notes to change. The library has a fund balance sitting in there. The bills are not paid from the general or from us anymore. They all paid on their own. So I zeroed out that fund and put that all into the general to just get rid of that. Sales and use tax had 2 payments that were not paid out of the 302. They were paid out of the general. So I made that transfer so that they were taken out of sales and use tax. Otherwise, those are the numbers that will be published in the paper for the 2025 year-end financials.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Chelsea? All right, thank you, Chelsea.
This is a question, do we need to approve that because we approve each
Oh.
meeting of financials or not?
Yes, you should approve them.
Okay, that's
Okay.
what I was thinking, yeah. So motion to approve the year-end financials to be
second.
published in the paper.
Sure, second. Any other discussion? Not hearing any. Brandon?
Yes.
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 And yes. All right, pledge of securities.
Okay, we got our pledge of securities from True Community Bank. The board of directors for True Community Bank approved the pledge of securities at the January 28th, 2026 board meeting. The total public deposits on December 31st, 2025 were $20,622,740 and the total pledged securities were $24,220,726.59. The current value of securities pledged as collateral for deposits as of the quarter end December 31st, 2025 meet the FDIC requirements. We do need a motion to approve that.
Motion to approve the pledge of securities.
Second.
Any more discussion? Brandon?
Yes.
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 Yes. All right, number 19, new fire hall proposal. Come on, in.
We gotta have the guy here that knows all the answers that I don't know.
the wizard.
I guess not. Must be the one Travis was sitting in.
Can you guys just please state who you are?
Okay, I'm Clayton Berkey, I'm the Washburn Fire Chief.
I'm Mike Dura, I'm on the fire department as well.
Okay, thank you.
Now, basically, a couple months ago, we had kind of a, well, we wouldn't even call it a meeting, just to get together, a few of us. And one of the big things that came out of that, as far as going forward on this building, was, how much it's gonna cost, a bid. So this, their request for proposal, that Mike put a lot into, it's kinda his deal, what he used to do. What we need to do is have the city approve this so that we can advertise for it, and then companies would basically, get into the city's website and get the sheet or whatever, and the design builds, and they would give us bids.
Mhm.
Then we know where we're at. That would be a sealed bid situation. Then we know what it's gonna cost. And then we go back and try to figure out how to pay for the dang thing. But this is the first, this is how you get the bids.
So this is all you want is to get the bids, start to get the bids.
Preliminaries.
Right.
If we wanna get a handle on the specific cost, we're gonna need to get some bids for it, but before we go to that step, I would say that first we need to know if this is something that we're really interested in doing. Because when we ask for companies to put these bids together, it's not a simple process.
Mhm.
You know, it's fairly lengthy, time consuming and expensive for them. So if we're not, if we're just kind of kicking the tires, we probably don't want to ask these people to go through all that. If we're interested in, this is a move that we want to consider, we probably need to go to this step to see what the costs are gonna be. I don't know if there's another way that we can get a fairly close cost.
And Mike, you do have kind of a general idea of where
I
these
do,
bids are gonna,
company I used to work for, I just finished a design build in the spring of 2025. About 2/3 of the size of this, both in the terms of concrete and in terms of the building. And so Tim Miller, who's the owner and general manager of Missouri River Contracting, he had worked up, he does this on all his jobs. The total cost of the project on a per square foot basis, which included all of the concrete, the building, the electrical, and the mechanical. And so that was the basis that we came here with the 1.7 at that point in time. And since then, concrete has gone up fairly significantly, probably 20%. But the cost of the metal buildings hasn't increased yet from 2024. So that's a good thing. So I think we're still fairly close to the ballpark in that 1.8, 1.9 for this project. But if we wanna really fine tune that closer, the only way to do it is really to put together an RFP, put it out there for bids and see what comes in.
Are you still gonna have this spring of 2026 with completion of fall of 2026? Is like this what they're gonna think?
Well, this was just an outline, and we gotta keep in mind this is a rough draft. All of this can be changed as far as timeframes, but if we're going to put together an RFP, we've gotta put in some dates.
Right.
Yeah, probably can't hold these people any closer than holding their bids for 60 days before we issue a contract. So if we're gonna be looking that, this could take 6 months to 12 months before we'd even think about doing something, then we'd have to start the whole process all over again, because those bids wouldn't be valid anymore.
Well, I guess, yeah, that's my concern of those bids not being valid, this not going through when nobody knows how this is being funded yet.
Right.
That's my only concern, cause I know bids are only good for 60 to 90 days.
Yep.
and that was the concerns too from the rural fire board.
Mm-hmm.
And Chelsea was there and Keith was there and I was there. And that was kind of our concerns too, is,
Maybe the more reasonable way to go would be to see what mechanisms would it take, and if there even would be an interest to finance a project that's going to be safe, say $2 million. And then if that looks doable, then we put out an RFP.
Yeah.
And then fine tune those costs.
because to put the plumbing and the water and the electrical infrastructure in, that's gonna take time to get that implemented.
Well, that's all included in this RFP.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
but that normally.
And then,
in a
and then
project
you
like
just
this-
schedule that out.
Yeah, in a project like this, with this kind of a scope and what's already on the site, I would say these utilities that you mentioned are well within the scope of, the normal scope of a project like this. And
Okay.
it's gonna be a 6 to 8 month project, maybe more if construction is to go through the winter, because your productivity is always lower in the colder months. But if this project was to start, say, frost coming out of the ground in the spring, it should be completed early to mid-fall. And that's including all this utility work. Kind of have a sense that this lot that we have is going to take a fair bit of imported fill. And again, that should still work well within the timeframes.
Okay. And what about the cost to put this forward? Would that be the cost on the city then to implement this bid?
Well, I think we've got a package here with a little bit of tuning that we could probably put out for advertisement and submit it, you know, then we have our RFP.
Okay. And then do we have to have engineering look at this bid and,
That's the nice thing about the design build project, because the engineering is on the responsibility of the contractor.
okay,
We have requirements in our RFP requiring that all of the building practices meet current international building codes. That's the general contractor, that's everything. Mechanical, electrical, plumbing, everything, they have to meet these codes. I did put in the RFP request for stamped, design drawings for the civil for site, the site plan, which includes running in the utilities.
Okay.
And also the professional engineer stamped drawings for the structural engineering, which would be the foundation and the support for the building.
okay.
The engineering for the pre-engineered middle building, that'll all come with stamp plans too, but that comes from the middle building supplier.
Okay. Should this RFP bidding be shared with the commission for approval? If we need to see
Oh,
it?
absolutely, absolutely, and Clayton has already provided that to the city, and we would like the commission to look through it, and like I said, this is a rough draft, and I've got it on a word processor, any requested changes or questions or, you know, additions or deletions, is easy to do it, and this building at the end of the day will be the fire station, but it's gonna belong to the city, so, yeah, any input is encouraged and requested.
Yeah, cause anything over, what, $200,000 has to go up for bids and it has to be engineered, does that follow with buildings too?
That's my understanding of Century Code.
Yeah,
Like if we were to, as a municipality, put forth more than $200,000, don't we require upfront before the bids? the
This
engineering
project would
work?
have to be bid, yeah.
But what I'm saying, before the
what-
bids, engineering work, not with the building.
I would say not necessarily.
Okay.
If you put an RFP out there,
Mm-hmm.
you could have contractors, engineers, architects could respond to that.
Cool,
Um,
okay.
But it, like what Mike's saying, if a contracting outfit would have to subcontract an engineer architect to work with them unless they're already working with one of them, they might be. I guess, I got a couple of questions.
Sure.
Would you like to come up here,
Yeah.
if
so
you will, please?
How many square feet is this?
11,000 is
Well,
what I
just
saw.
Tell people who you are.
11,856 exterior, 11,040. Oh, that's a class 5, but the whole total building is 13,920 pre-engineered steel building.
13,000 square feet.
Yep.
14,000.
Can you
14,000.
just state for the public who you are?
Yep, I'm Eric with AE2S. Okay, and then the site location again is up on Highway 83, right?
Right.
Yeah. And then, do you have a few different contractors in mind that would probably respond to this, Mike, or?
Oh, I would guess for sure, you know, Missouri River would be included, Capital City, no doubt, possibly Consolidated, I'm not too sure about, I think there's probably 2 or 3 others, more likely two
Yeah,
is out of.
I think there'd be
out of-
for
out of-
sure some interest in
Yeah,
it.
yeah, I think it's a nice job, I think there'd be quite a bit of interest.
If you don't mind me asking, like where was the one that you looked at that you said was about 2/3 the size of this one?
That was at that new added building to Centennial Collision.
Okay. Did you have a look at or see the one they just built in Kildare at all? They put a big fire hall up over there like in the last year or two.
No,
That one might be a good one to check out, and I'm not sure
Kildare?
who. Yep, in Kildare. I'm not sure who constructed that one, but just to get some costs from them too.
the
on what you-
pre-engineered middle building.
Yeah, it's a metal building. Yep. Right there, just off of Highway 22.
All right.
Pretty large one. I guess square footage wise, I'm not sure how it compares, but might be a good comparison on cost. So,
One I think it is smaller.
okay, that one's smaller than what you guys are looking at. Okay. Yeah, no, just, and I could do some checking too with them over there to see what they have for costs on that too, cause I know there's concern for how much it might cost, and if the city's gonna own this project and be responsible for bidding it and essentially paying for it, then that might be a good thing to find out, so.
I think it's just one thing to bring to remembrance is it's not just like a fire hall, it's a whole infrastructure project. Cause we kind of talked about this last time, is we're gaining now equipment storage and other stuff where the old one was. That is, there's a lot of value there, right? It's not just like building a building and the other one's just gone, like it's, you can't really build something like that. You can get 2 for 1 kind of, you know?
It's gonna fill the needs of the city.
For sure, in more than one way, yeah.
And just cause I'm new to this, can you tell me what those are? What are, can somebody like expand on,
So
what are our needs right now in the
well,
fire hall
Well,
situation?
specifically for a building would be like equipment storage. We've talked in the past, well, we have these
Thank
brand new
you,
equipment
Eric.
and they're sitting
Thank
outside
you.
or whatever, like just issues with that, or like even the new tar blocks we're doing, it'd be better to have it in some sort of thing, right? So it'd give us more storage for that, for all things that have been outside previously. That's about it. I guess I don't really know what else a building does besides,
Right.
shelter from the elements,
So,
but.
is there,
The advantage of the fire department, right now, we have our equipment scattered in 3 different places.
okay,
It'd be nice to have it under one roof.
one room, yeah,
Speeds things up a whole bunch.
where, can I ask where they're held, like currently?
Right
The-
now?
the- yeah,
Here,
oh,
across the street, which is fairly close, and then Fairmont up at my place.
okay, I see,
I
thank you,
think
yeah.
there's 3 units up at my place.
Okay,
Well, even just response too, because they're right on the highway.
right, that's what I
So
was
that,
wondering,
that's an added benefit too, is, you know,
to get out and help people quicker, yeah,
For both town and rural.
and roll.
for sure.
Correct.
It's a whole lot easier to bring those trucks downhill than it is uphill.
That's true.
Yeah.
Especially some of the older ones. Yeah.
Mhm.
If the city was looking to expand their shop facilities, which apparently you need to, looking at the
Yeah.
nice new stuff that's sitting out, it would make a lot more sense to expand the fire station into things so we could be more consolidated and be better prepared to respond to emergencies. And then the city would also be able to fulfill their needs that they have for taking care of their city equipment.
Mhm. Yeah,
But then, I mean, we gotta also see what the cost would be for all this, for everybody else, like the city's in. I mean, that's a lot of money for all these people to pay.
Yes, that's what I was nervous
I
about.
mean, not only with this, and then you got the school project that went over by $1 million, and, I mean, I don't even know if specials and everybody else around here.
That's my main concern. I've heard from about 5 or 6 in the last
Unless you guys
2
can
weeks.
get some grants or whatever else we can try to figure out, I guess, I don't know how that all works, but.
Grants are pretty much a no-go.
Really?
Grants are really hard for new buildings, unfortunately.
Okay.
And, there used to be FEMA, well, there still is, FEMA grants for fire service.
Okay.
President administration yanked all those last year. So those aren't available. There's a lot of grants that just aren't available because, you can apply for them, but you won't get them because there's no funds. That's just the way it's working right now. Even before when, like the FEMA grants for a building type grant, some of the grants that I wrote years ago that we've won, at that time, if you put in for a building grant, you had about I forget, one time it was like a 0.001% chance of even being considered for a building grant. And the chances of getting one were like next to nothing. And that's part of the problem with grants type thing for new buildings. Now, you wanna add on to a building or something like that, there's certain things that are available for that. Part of the deal too, without the city, I guess, approving this, it's really hard to even ask people for money without having the city's backing. I guess that's part of it too. But it's totally up to you guys.
Yeah.
You know, the fire
And there'll have to
department's
be
part
some,
of the city.
there'll have to be some participation from the rural board as well, because this shouldn't all be on the city either. Because we serve the rural district too, which is taxpayer funded.
And so you're saying this building is estimated to be at what from your studies? How much were you saying this was gonna cost?
I would say realistically, we're looking at like 1.8 million, but to be safe, I would budget 2 million. And everything seems to go over.
Then, so it sounds like we cover that hurdle if you go out for bids like you're doing and they do the engineering. How much do you think that would cost us to go out for bids and get, cause you can reject them all, I mean.
Exactly.
But you won't get.
Put out for bid, it wouldn't cost the city anything necessarily, but pretty much got the package put together, I think, you know, all we need is the inputs and any requested changes that the city would want. And Clayton's gonna present the RFP to the road board too, and they may have some requests for changes as well. So that part is ready to go.
Where do you want this published then?
Well,
Because how do you get that information? I mean, I understand putting it on the website, but how do you get the information out for people to go and bid it?
well, again, that would be up to the city, but I would say we have to run an ad in the newspaper here and probably in the Bismarck Tribune.
Yeah, so that would be at the cost of the city is.
Yeah, the cost of the ads would be the cost, yeah.
Is it
So-
worth
Add
putting
up,
it down
yeah.
at Plan Exchange, or is that,
I thought about that, and I mentioned to Tim, and he thought that might be all right, but he's fairly certain if you're not a member of the exchange, that there'll be a fee for that too, and he thought that gets quite expensive.
yeah. I haven't used it in a long time, but yeah, I know there is a fee
Yeah.
and, but,
Well, if you're a member, the fee is a lot less. If you're not a member, it's pretty high.
right.
Does a fee go by the size of the project then?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
But if, I mean, if you put it in the paper and then you cover that base and you called the people you wanted to put a price on it.
Well, we could call every contractor we'd care to work with, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yep, it'd be Northwest and for one, and in Capital City and Missouri River, and there's 2 or 3 others on top of my list. Sure, at least 5 I would call. Make them aware that it's out there.
so then you're saying doing that to get a real price, and then from there, it's you're seeing that number, and then it's the funding and how we wanna pay
Proceed.
for it.
Right.
So what are our options to pay for it? I mean, there's fundraising, would it be a special then? If the city took it over, would it be a special over,
I don't think we could special this.
so that's not an option?
You can do a loan though. There's
We
some
would have to
loans.
go look at going through that, but I mean, yeah, that's another $2 million loan that you're looking at. I think
Yeah,
there's gonna have to be some more money cut in without us, the city, taking out a straight $2 million loan.
Mhm.
That's my major concern.
Substantial amount.
I mean,
Yes.
so you're saying there's no specials, we can't do that, so how else would we do it? I mean, we could look at what that building would be worth to us that we're taking back and making payments that way towards them to get that part over
We would
there.
have to take out a loan to finance it.
And then pay for it from the general fund over years, or what? Or how would that look, really?
Depending on the
Stay average, be
items.
budgeted, I guess. But,
Right.
Do we have any funds to buy down the project before the loan?
There would be, yes,
Okay.
but if we're gonna buy that down and then the city's financing it as well, I mean, and the city's looking at a $2 million project across in Heritage.
Right.
So, I mean, we're looking at roughly $4 million in loans if we want to pursue both projects.
Mhm.
It's a lot.
8 once we get down with the other 3 that we've listed in the future. You
Yeah,
know what
I mean, it's
So, like,
just, it's a large burden for the city up front to commit to a $2 million with no additional funding right now.
In the time frame that we're looking at.
If they want to pursue it for,
Right.
that's my major concern financially.
And that's honestly what I've heard in the last 2 weeks from people.
Mhm.
So, I'm just saying, they're already really concerned about certain people in particular that came to me were concerned about the specials that they're already facing. And they're only here for half the year if they leave and go, they're snowbirds, you know? So I encounter some of these people and they're talking to me about that, and so I think that's interesting because I don't know that they would be in favor of doing this right now. That's
guess-
just the
Does the
Generally
fire
correct.
department have any plans to fundraise? I get asking for money when the city, if it's not a go, or what is the fire department looking at to help fund this project?
Fire department can do, we've talked about many things. Part of the problem is most of the fundraisers that we do would like be a feed or something like that. That's a small change. You know, you're talking maybe taking in a couple $1,000. That doesn't go very far. There's, we've got one request out now because we were advised to request that before the end of the year for money, and so far we haven't gotten a request back. There's entities in our fire districts that could possibly give us a fair amount of money, can't guarantee on it. Any of that you can't, it's hard to ask for until we have a definite, and we know, like the rural board, they don't have the income that a lot, like the city has more income than what the rural does. They get 5 mils, that's it. And they're willing to put in, but they won't do a thing until we have bids. Bids locked in. That was at the meeting that we had before. And that's part of it. Part of the fire department's concerned, we've got, I mean, a lot of different kinds of things for fundraisers, but like I said, that's small change. We don't have the ability to do a fundraiser that's gonna bring in $2 million.
Yeah.
Now, we do have the ability to ask some of these larger outfits for money, whether or not they'd divvy up that much money, I have no idea.
Another part of that was discussed at that meeting a little bit was the opposite of, raising money, be spending less money, right? So like maybe even the scope of it being a little bit smaller, like we kind of talked about, you'd have room for expansion in that previous build. I know it's not this build, I know that they're different. But before there was like room for every single truck, would they all be needed? Like some of that was discussed with the road board, and I don't know anything about that, but I assume the road board does, and that was kind of one of the conversations that happened there. So it is possible that if it didn't have to be this full-fledged thing, it could be scaled back a little bit, correct?
Depends on how much that would save us,
Sure.
you know? To my big scope of things, if you're gonna build it, build it.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as like, us scaling back some of our units and all this kind of stuff, that's fine, until you need them.
Sure.
And that's when, we've had a few fires where we needed all those trucks. And we've even had a couple of them in town where we've utilized all of our big trucks and a couple of small trucks on a structure fire. So there's yes and no for scaling back.
You know, even if you kept this part down here for a while, but you did half of that up there and then try to get grants for the other part of it and we're built on.
Is that an option, yeah, that we could do that?
But then we're still split.
Mm.
We got our equipment split.
Right.
And that's part of the issue that we're running into now.
My question is, if we do something like that, is that something that we could then easily, maybe Eric, you would know, if we have part of this project started, how likely is it that we could get grants for something, if we've already started a project?
I would try to get those grants before you start doing the work.
Those type of grants typically are only a couple $100,000. They're not a big dollar amount. They're for doing minor.
So that would
Call it minor.
not work then.
More or less improvement.
We just, for an example, we had looked into adding on to this building a bunch of years ago. And Mike Thyberg was a big part of that. And they came up with adding one stall on, plus an upstairs, $70,000. This was 20-some years ago. I can't imagine what that would be now. But that's just one little add-on. So it's kind of, you know, we can do whatever the city wants, that's fine.
Mhm.
But part of it with us is getting all of our stuff in one spot. You know, and that's kind of the deal. I know that there is, I was told that we could be pretty much guaranteed, well, there's no such guarantee, till it's all said and done. Pretty much guaranteed, somewhere between at least 200,000, possibly 400,000 on a 1% interest loan. That helps quite a bit, not paying interest. I know that for sure. As far as helping with payments, I know this, there's a couple of things that the rural gets one of and we get one of. It's a check we get from the state every year that could go toward payments. Pretty sure. That only amounts to like 30,000 a year, but be a payment.
Is it Bank of North Dakota, can they do a low interest loan for the,
Not sure. I've been told by a few people that Bank of North Dakota isn't that great to get loans from,
okay,
but I don't know that for a fact.
yeah, cause if you had to do 5 or 6% interest, that would be,
No,
That would
that
be
eats you
awful.
lunch at that
Yeah,
moment.
no.
So,
I have a question. Does the rural board, say on a $2 million loan, could they commit to like a percentage of that? You know, I think you still have to meet with them.
I can't talk for those guys, but,
Sure.
I know that they have one that's about $20,000 a year, and I'm pretty sure that could be committed. Like I said, that's 20,000.
so the rule is 20,000 a year?
I'm pretty sure, they get more than that, but that's one part of it that I think they would be willing to commit for sure. Whether or not they would commit any of the funds to try and buy it down that they have now, I don't know. Like I said, they weren't willing to talk too much about it until they get a definite bid,
Mm.
so that's where this came from.
I mean, just one thought I kind of have is like, we're kind of coming at this after this other street project, in between this other street project, which is not the end of the world, but it would be kind of nice to prepare for something like this. Like,
Yes.
even budgeting like what a 200,000 a year or whatever it may be for a significant down payment in the future might be a better option. I don't know, but then of course, does that put away money, outbeat inflation and the interest rates now? Like, what would the opportunity cost be? That sort of thing. So there's different things to consider with that. So I don't know. It's just like, it's kind of difficult if we were going to take out a loan with zero money down, hypothetically, at high interest would be kind of like losing in two different ways, right? And since we don't really have a cash egg saved up, we kind of do, you know, what is it, like 2 million saved up in general?
Yeah, now we're at like 1.4, I think was.
So I-
Okay,
in there?
that was before all these other things, right?
Yeah,
So
we've kind of, yeah, it's
we've kind of
That's my-
chunked out the chunks,
my
you know,
concern.
so.
I'm not saying it's not doable, I just, there's some funding that needs to be committed before the city can, I think,
Mm.
pursue it. And I get the hard part of, it's hard to know without a dollar amount of an actual bid coming
Yeah.
in, because
you know, as far as
That's-
trying to put
we
some
need
funds
those
away
amounts.
each year,
Yeah.
you know, construction costs typically increase by 5 to 7% a year.
Yeah, I do.
You know, so you're just kind of treading water, sort of.
Mhm.
Until-
I just
until
ran
it's-
this mortgage calculator at
Yeah.
2 million, say your 20% down payment would be 400,000. You know, say if interest rate was 6, you know, over 30-year loan, monthly payment would be about $9,600 a month, you know. So is any of that realistic? I mean, even if we went the long term, can we get a $400,000 down payment? And then, you know, can we do a monthly payment of say 10 grand? And that's over a 30-year loan. And if you go to the, you know, to the sum, that building's gonna cost 3.4 million, you know, by the time you pay the interest on that.
In the end.
Over
Alone.
30 years, yeah.
So is there any way to knock down the down payment? Is there, you know,
I guess one thing with that is like, would the 10,000 be affordable, kind of? Cause
yeah,
like, what's that times 12, like 120,000? We currently have that 50,000 in the vehicle fund, which we theoretically, like a fire truck or something like that would be a bigger vehicle, so no trucks for a while. I'm just kidding. So I mean, there'd be 50 of it, you know what I mean? So like, if we were to go the loan amount, obviously there might be some wiggle room, cause then can we come up with a 70? Well, the financial health thing, it seems like there would be some room. But is the taking away that margin the wisest choice right now? Because exactly, you're not gonna make money necessarily. Well, you might, I don't know, because you're not gonna outpace the rising cost of construction materials, and that's kind of the difficulty. So, yeah, it's a tough decision.
and if you knock that down to a 10-year loan, I mean, that'd be $18,000 a month. And then, you know, that would knock your total payment down to, total interest would be 531. So Yeah, you know, so obviously if a guy could hit those payments harder, you know, so what our goals would be, would we look for, obviously, as big a down payment as we could get, so where would that come from? And
Right.
then, what's the biggest monthly payment a guy could make? Could a guy get down to a 10-year payment to knock down that, cause like, it's not gonna be just 2 million unless we have the money up front.
Yeah.
For, just to say, for something that large of a dollar amount, for the underwriting side and to looking at all of that for, cause we're looking at, it's a major project, so if you have something like that, they probably would not do a 10-year. I mean, I'm just saying, I don't think logically that they'll consider that. They would maybe do a 30. But
But then you just hit it harder, you hit your
yes,
down
you do,
payment harder,
yeah,
and you just up your payments.
to try and pay it off. But, we need to look, I think we need to look into what loans are really gonna cost to help us figure out where we can go with that, because that is really where, that's the path we have, that's what I think. So,
Yeah, to get a little bit more insight of before a commitment.
right, like I wanna do this, but I think our timing and what we need to figure out what to do with that is probably our most fiscally responsible part.
Have you looked in, anybody involved with gaming to help with the fundraising?
Nope. Like I said, until we have where we went so far with getting a bid. That's what most everybody wanted. They wanted to know what it was gonna cost. We had to guesstimate, but they wanna know exactly what it's gonna cost. But a couple guys wanna know how much it was gonna cost for electricity and the heat for the thing. No way of knowing that.
Right.
Well,
But-
if you are gonna put it out for bids, I think the dates need to be changed. Because I think realistically, starting in spring of 26 is too soon.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't.
You put it out too far though, and nobody's gonna bid on it. Cause there's no way to lock in the price. Where right now, they can kinda lock the price in. Kind of, I think.
And no one's gonna bid on a job now, if we say, yeah, we're gonna start construction in September or next year at this time. Nobody's gonna,
Right,
we
but,
won't get a bid.
I mean, I guess then, yeah, you just go through it and you turn it down if it's too much. I don't know, I just,
You could turn it
financially,
down-
it's,
You could turn it down
Can we
regardless.
revisit?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's what my thought
You
is.
can put out for
We
bids all
do-
it
if
costs
we
us
can
for
get some-
advertisement.
Ideas on loans, and we can get some of
I
that
guess that's-
information.
peanuts compared to the actual price.
Go get about 800, ETAP machines and sit 'em around town, like, help people real quick.
What kind of machine?
ETAP machines.
Oh, yeah.
Problem solved. Okay, so, so basically, what is the appropriate steps of this? Obviously, step one, decide if we want this or not, or if we wanna even move in this direction. Step two, loans or bids or both? Help me solve that. What's the proper way to do this? Is this like you get pre-approved and you go look for a house sort of thing? Or
I,
is it?
I would say if you're interested in looking into this further, probably the next step would be to put out the RFP. And then just gonna have to say to the bidders, you know,
Yeah.
we're too far over budget to award a contract at this time. We're gonna have to do some more work. And then we can start looking at financing
Hmm.
and then resubmit it for bid again 6-8 months later, or whatever the case may be.
Possible 2027 then. So basically, 2026 would be fact finding sort of
Yeah.
thing. More fact finding with the loans, and then possible procedure in 2027.
Yeah, but we can't tell the contractors that, or again, they're not gonna be.
Well, public, if they watch meetings, so hello. If you want to bid it, go ahead. We'll see you in 2027. But yeah, so it depends
We
if they watch.
also, we get a bid, then we can do some bidding. And see, I know Carrington, in fact, when I came up with the drawing for this building, it's Carrington's fire hall.
Hmm.
What I did, they built that 20-some years ago. They were short $200,000. The bowling alley burned, 1 week later, they had their 200,000
Hmm.
with donations. But that's just how that type works. Sometimes, begging for money, you're kind of surprised. sometimes you don't get anything. But we've got some pretty good sized industry around here that might divvy up quite a bit, might not. But without having the bids, it's kinda hard to ask.
I actually think that's a good idea. If we do proceed with collecting bids, we have at least our feet in the right direction, and then we can get ourselves the legwork on the loan side, or we can do what we need to do to pursue it. I'm definitely in favor of it. I mean, if we need to make a motion on who's in favor of it, we should do that first. So that then that's established, and then we go through that. Our next steps to
Start
do
the
it.
process.
Yeah, if you've done a lot of the legwork to give them something to bid on, then, our cost would be the running of the newspaper and what else? I mean, it'd be,
How many weeks do you want to run in the paper?
A week or less, 3 days, 4 days.
yeah.
Every day for 4
And
days?
you'll do the legwork to go get a hold of these people. The legality is putting it in the paper.
Yeah, we need to get it published in a public forum. But I would also call these other contractors, make them aware that it's out there. So we should get 4 or 5 bids.
Okay.
I mean, cause that's what you're saying, everybody's looking for is these real bids to know for the funding, so.
That's the feedback Clayton's
So,
been getting.
Yes, so this thing doesn't die, go and get the bids, and then we're out to ad in the paper, I guess, at this point.
Mike, would you post just a description of what you guys are looking for your ad, or how would you
Well-
set that ad up?
We've got a page here that already describes that.
Okay.
Did you have? Why don't we give him a
So
copy
this
of
front paper is what you would want to be in the paper
that? Yeah, that's what would
for 4 days?
yeah.
Yeah, and the rest of it is, way I understand it, it goes into like the city's website.
Yeah, the way this would go, we'd publish that ad with the dates that we want the bids and whatnot. And we would scan this document in a PDF form and then put that on the city website. And then we'd also have to assign a contact person and whatnot, get contact information. But, the bidding contractors would get this RFP, which gives them the directions of what we're looking for and some of the specifications. And it would be in a PDF form they could download off the city website.
So the top part here is the ad, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, just wanna make sure I'm looking at the right thing.
Okay, I guess just financially speaking, like if we were going to commit to this, in 2 years, we might wanna have that 400,000, which is what he mentioned. We can kind of get there, like even the $50,000 vehicle fund, that could be moved over to here. The $30,000 check from the state, right, could be then add to that, it's 80,000, you're short 120 grand. And maybe there's a little bit of room in the budget for that to even get close to a down payment. And if we need to cover, or those two saved amounts would get us to being negative 240 from a $400,000 down payment, well, maybe there's 240 in the general fund or something like that, right? It'd be more feasible than like 600,000, I don't know, just a thought, I guess, for if we are going to commit, then we should commit all the way and then start saving up the down payment too. So it's not like, oh, oopsie doodles, we bought a tractor, you just like earmark it or something, like earmark this amount per year, so we don't like tractor all over the place or whatever and get a bunch of stuff, just something to consider, but.
There is, I've said before, the fire department has some money. Our idea was that the money that we've got was gonna go towards the incidentals once the building's built. But if most of that's covered under the bid, we could give some money. The rural has some. I have no idea how much that might be a fight. Maybe not, don't know.
Because the borough's primary concern was if they're going to give money, they want to have some sort of ownership of it. So like, it's hard to have shared ownership over a building, but rather a vehicle. And that makes sense from like a rural board, responding to rural area. You're doing that with the building, but you're doing it primarily with the equipment. So it makes sense that they would own part of the equipment rather than the building, but.
Part of that was kind of discussed later with the lease situation. I don't know how that works. I have no idea.
Whose name's gonna be on the loan?
What's that?
Whose name's
It'd
it?
have to be the
It'd
cities.
be the cities.
Yep.
And so how do we capture this? You know, if the rule says they're gonna put in X amount, how do we, you know, would they just have to have the money up front and then we're left flipping the payments? Is that kind of what's this looks like, or how,
Would that be a co-op?
There would
Take-
have to be,
yeah, how do we legally put this together that, you know,
it would be collateral
As a
of some kind.
partnership.
that, you know, are you saying the rule is maybe committing to X amount a year or month or whatnot?
A year.
So the funding would come from a couple different places, like what the city would generate and then rule would generate but the loan would be in the city's name, so how, I wonder how we,
Would they like,
They would, I mean, if they have it, they would say it's just January of every year, they would give the city the $20,000. So we would just include that with, cause I mean, eventually then we're gonna have to budget for that loan.
yeah.
right,
So then it would just come in when we make our loan payment. Instead of the city paying 40,000, we'd be paying 20,000 essentially for that month, for easy numbers. If it's, I don't know, whenever they should get that check March, I think, is it?
Yeah, it's usually the end of December.
So, I mean, that would just be
All the stuff I'm
factored in.
supposed to do.
I mean, then eventually if it does go through, yes, it would have to be on our, I mean, we'd budget for the next year of that principal payment, interest and service charge about to coincide with our levy of then what we put out for that following year.
And possibly depending upon how it's amortized, trying to get a healthy dose on the principal, because then we can get pretty good return on investment. If it's like a mortgage, you know, like you get diminishing returns after a certain amount, but before that, you can get really good return.
You wait till the end to start having money to pay it off, you kind of waste it, cause all your interest rates in the beginning.
you hit it hard, especially in the beginning,
Like 30–40%.
you try to do.
And then if they get an extra donation that they wanna put through, then it just comes in and we pay it towards that loan, you know?
True, yeah.
I mean,
Get
it
it,
just
get
is
it
back,
knocked out.
as long as we get it, we factor it into that payment.
So yeah, let's
So we
just.
could then pay 60,000 instead of 40,000 1 year, whatever.
That's really good. Let's just see. So this is step 1 and step 2. Grumble together. I make a motion to look or to complete a new fire hall proposal to then put out for bids in the Leader News for 2 weeks. It can be changed after. Or Bismarck Tribune for 4 days. Because he said 3 to 5, so I went with 4. That's my motion.
I will second that.
Is there any other discussion?
So I guess just to explain why I said this is step 1 and step 2, because obviously if you
Okay.
vote for this, you'd be in favor of moving in the direction of a new fire hall, not you're committing forever and ever and ever.
Right,
But if you're interested in this project, then
It's the-
obviously consider that. This is the first step. We might waste, what, $1,200 for the ads if we don't do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so just consider that, but are we interested in this
Probably
project?
less,
That's where we're at.
Probably less, but, well, 4 days, Bismarck, yeah, give or take.
Okay. Any more discussion?
I have one thing if there's, so if we start, I mean, this part is good to start, I think it'll give people the opportunity, especially in town, to receive this. And, if there is more concerns that they have, they can then voice those, they can talk to us, they can find us. And, we would just reassure them, of course, we are in the preliminaries of this to help them understand, because it's such a significant project. So, I'm just saying, I think that that's a really important thing, that we need to be there for them, because there's gonna be a lot more, we need to be able to help with that. So that Chelsea's not overwhelmed with all the calls.
Well, because even if it's not directly special, it influences our ability to pay down specials in the future.
Right, that's
So
correct.
it will affect people's specials in the grand scheme of things. But
Yes.
Would you need it in the, Bismarck Tribune, or just cover our basis in the Leader, cause that would cover Century Code?
I would put in the Bismarck Tribune if we want those. I mean, granted, yes, he says he's gonna call them, but That's what those companies are looking at. They're not looking at our paper.
Mm.
Granted, I mean, like you said, you call them, but to even potentially maybe get somebody new to see it in the Tribune.
But I have a feeling you're gonna personally go and knock on some doors, I have a feeling, aren't you?
I think I should. I think I should.
Yeah, I just,
I don't-
Chelsea, I think the Century Code 3 consecutive weeks too, right, for a public improvement project that's paid for by a local government.
Is it 3? I thought it was 2.
I was thinking
It-
that.
If it's specials, so like special assessments, I think it might be, we should just
Yeah.
double check.
I will, yeah, I'll double check on that.
oh, you're saying there's like 3 papers it needs to be in, or what?
No,
No,
3
no,
3
weeks.
weeks.
So I'm saying if
3 weeks.
if like a local government does a public bid, advertisement for bid, then it's 3 consecutive weeks is what I
Is it
recall.
just one day a week then?
Yeah,
with the lead.
yeah, one day a week for 3 consecutive weeks,
well,
not
I
like
see
every
that.
day of the paper.
Yeah.
And if it's special, then I thought it was 2 weeks if it's a special assess project, but I think we should just verify that in the Century Code, so I don't know how you wanna
Right, just
write
like
your
this.
motion, but.
Yep, I
Make
make
sure
an
that it's
amendment to say, amendment to the previous motion to say if any issues arise in seeking out these bids in the form of newspaper and Century Code conflicts, then we will extend the advertising period up to 4 weeks to go extra. So,
Okay. I second.
Okay.
Sounds like it, just to make sure.
yep, just to make sure, might as well. Maybe like a special meeting, it needs to be one, yeah, no.
Okay, any more questions on the amendment? If not, we're just voting on the amendment for the advertising, Brandon,
Yes.
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 and yes. Okay, your first
Step.
step,
That's a word.
is there any more discussion before voting on that?
One thing, point of contact, fire department for that.
Maybe
Or
the
do you
fire
want-
commissioner too. Who's that again?
I don't know. Wait,
Who's police and fire?
Buddy.
It'd be Brandon.
Brandon.
Are you okay with that if they just asked you? Like,
Yeah.
Okay,
That's fine.
so both you guys? Or you guys just
I
need
have a-
contact?
I would put him down.
Yeah, this gentleman, right
Yeah.
there, absolutely.
I've written in this RFP, that you probably don't wanna be getting hounded by contractors asking you a bunch of questions you don't have answers to.
Right.
Well, yeah, you should be the point of contact, shouldn't you?
I'd like to list a point of contact in here to be answering those questions, and legally, you know, if we have people asking specific questions, we need to make a list of those questions, and then we need to reply to everyone who's interested in bidding on the project together, so they all have the same information.
Mhm.
Okay.
I have language in this RFP that if people start going outside this structure, that they'll be eliminated from being able to put in a bid. So we don't want them going to the rural board or to the mayor or to the various different council people.
So let's talk to you.
Well, to one, it wouldn't necessarily have to be me, but it could be, but, so they're just going to one person, so we keep, we can keep
Right.
control of the information.
Well, if it has anything to do with the bidding or building, it'd be you, but then if there was any other public comment, then where should it go? Do you wanna just be,
Well, right now, I would only be qualified to speak to the actual building
yeah,
itself, but I wouldn't be able to speak to anything else.
Public comment would always be to you guys. You know, that's not ours,
Mhm.
fire department, anybody, that's your guys' business. Our business is,
Anything outside of the specific RFP, we won't comment on any of that.
yeah, right. That's what I'm just kinda clarifying,
Yeah.
so.
So they may call you buddy.
I'll open my door and holler real loud.
Before we run the ads, though, and we post this to the city website, I'd like those of you that are interested to go through this and give me any comments or suggestions or whatnot, so we make sure everyone's on board with this, as it's written before we publish it and put it out to the public.
Sure.
I can print it off if you guys want it in a paper form too.
What was in, this is the same from our emails earlier too, so.
Yep.
Yeah, there's just a few things that maybe we should decide in this would be the point of contact. Would be a good one to at
Would be
least
good.
get that squared away, cause we're gonna run ads, that's gonna be now. So we should probably have someone that the ad should point to, or else what's your call to action?
Well, when they get me the final one,
Oh,
And
right.
this is going to
So
be.
you
because this
did
is
walk
just a
through
rough
that.
draft, so they need to
Right.
finalize it before they can give it to me to run.
Do we need to approve that then, or no?
Yeah,
Or just,
we would need
would it come
to.
back to us, or no?
So did
Um,
we jump the gun there a little bit? Do we need
Well,
to?
we're approving this, so now I mean, really, they need to, point of contact is going to be Mike.
Yeah.
I guess the proposal due date and time needs to be decided, which really, they can decide that.
Mhm.
That has no later than the date and the time. The submission location, where that's gonna be, really, Mike can decide that too.
That'll all be emailed to the city.
So,
Yeah.
once that is all factored in and done on here, and I get it, then it can be completed,
Okay.
or, done.
Mhm.
I have a question. On your drawing here of the building, I know there was discussed not to do the doors on the backside of the building.
We eliminated half of them.
Oh, okay, you eliminated
We only
half.
have the drive-through for the really big trucks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for explaining that, so.
Oh, and the truck with the rescue boat behind it.
Okay. Okay.
And I just have to say, so this is to initially start this project. We haven't even like talked about, we don't even know yet where we're gonna budget or fall in a budget for these utilities and everything, because we don't know where we're at with how big it would be, how much it would cost to run it. And so we haven't even discussed that part. So like, that's another asset or another facet of this that we have to consider as
Mhm.
well. So,
Upkeep and maintenance.
right,
Yep.
Just for, well, but not have to do with this, but anyway, the rural board's already decided, they did not wanna own the building, that's a given. But what they do now is they give, the city half of what the insurance is for all the equipment and the trucks every year. They have a meeting in March, and they come up with half of that amount. That was their plan for the building, was in March, whatever the utility work was for the year, they'd pay half of that,
Mhm.
half of the,
okay. That's good to know.
minus the water bill.
Mhm.
Which when we go through water, we go through a lot of water.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was their plan. Was that in March, half whatever the expenses of the building was, whatever that might be.
I have a question about what's written in here. So like, it says in here on page 13, alternate concrete. This for substituting concrete paving in lieu of crushed concrete paving as described. And the site work scope of work. And then the alternate concrete number 2 is for substituting concrete paving in lieu of crushed concrete. Well, it's the same thing. So are they considered, like, would these bids consider a substitute for concrete then?
Well, right now, the base bid would be for concrete along the frontage of the building,
Okay,
going up to the frontage road.
okay,
But then we've got two alternates, one bid for concrete down the one side of the building, and then concrete across the back of the building for the third alternate. That's a couple reasons. One of it's cost, because what doesn't get to concrete will get, the cast in place concrete will get compacted crushed concrete. But Rainbow has said that they'd be willing to donate a certain amount of concrete, they're not sure yet how much,
Okay.
for exterior paving. That's materials only, they still have to provide the labor to
Right.
place it and finish it. But if we split that up some like that, that allows them to be able to take off a chunk and say, yeah, we can take care of this. And then that will also allow moving forward, say we don't get all of our concrete that we'd like to have when the building is built. They've got a certain budget that they allow for concrete donations each year. So we could maybe come back in ensuing years and we could, the crushed concrete wouldn't be a waste because that's a big lot and we could spread that out over more of the lot, the crushed concrete. If and when Rainbow would step up and donate more concrete for exterior paving. So we may not get all the concrete we want in the first year, but after 3 or 4, maybe 5 years, we probably have it all in place.
Rainbow is another one of the, you know, you can never, you're not guaranteed on donations. But Rainbow is one that we were specifically told, do not ask for money. We've asked them for money for a lot of projects before, and we get $10,000. Well, $10,000 on a project like this is not much. A whole bunch of concrete would be a lot. So it's, but yeah, you can't plan on it until it's actually done. But that, there again, the bid,
That's where the
And then
concrete
you-
split out there on the bid tab.
person knows exactly how much concrete you need and all this kind of good stuff, then you go begging.
Okay, thank you, sorry.
Okay.
Clayton would like to present this to the rural board, right? And that's
Yep.
next week or?
Talking about, yeah, in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. So that would also give you folks time to review this RFP and then get any requested changes or suggestions
Okay,
to Clayton or me, so we can get that incorporated for a final copy for you to review before it would get posted to the city's website.
There again,
so would
we're-
that interfere with our plans for putting it in the,
Paper, so should we retract that? Did
I
we-
would wait on the paper thing until we get a review of the rural
finalized.
board, and then we want everything all set to go before we put in the ad.
So
okay,
we should be more at looking this over, being informational right now. Should we retract that?
motion to
That'd
put
be
it in.
easiest, probably, yeah, I retract my motion.
Yeah, I would set that ad back, maybe to next month possibly.
We need to meet and then approve it and then go from there.
So would it be do you guys want, fire commissioner in a little committee with you guys to help finish the RFP, which then would be presented at our next meeting, and then moving into advertising? Or would you guys rather just do your thing, come see us in a month, have the RFP, and then we'll talk about advertising then? What do you guys prefer?
If any one of us have a question, can we just call you guys?
Absolutely,
Okay.
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay,
So,
great.
Okay.
Would you guys prefer, like, you guys just work on it then, bring it back, ready to be advertised, or to be approved and then advertised next meeting? That'd be
Well,
fair.
somehow or other, we need the city's input before we take this much farther. I mean, I can't do it. There's one thing I'm.
Well, I mean, we can all look through it, but I'm not no genius on all this.
Right.
So,
Well, and that's why I'm asking because I'm trying to figure out how my motion to be the most helpful for you guys, which then would show our commitment to you guys and your project.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So would you guys are comfortable just continuing to work on it by yourselves then?
I think so, for now.
what about funding? I mean, I don't know. Should we have some kind of realistic funding before we go out for bids as well? I mean, kinda feel bad about
Yeah, I know,
going
me
out for
too.
bids.
Me
and
too.
Then, well, we didn't get loans secured, never mind, so maybe we should look at
We should
funding
look at
right,
collecting
for sure.
information about where we are with loans.
and be
In the
approved, make sure
meantime.
we're at least approved for it before we go.
Qualified, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
qualified.
I think it would be safer just to like say, we need
That-
$2 million and just like start there, regardless of how much exactly it costs, around $2 million. I think that would be
Yeah.
still step 2. Step 1 is, are we committed? Step 2, do we wanna spend $2 million? Step 3, advertising bids and that sort of stuff, so.
To see if it's even feasible.
Okay, here's the easiest motion. I make a motion, I wanna build a new fire hall. That's it.
Well, yeah, I think
Is there
we
any
wanna
seconds?
support you, but I mean, I think we've got
Is there
some
any
real
seconds?
roadblocks that we gotta get through. I mean,
Mhm.
I think is what we're trying to say.
We're trying to move past step
So-
1, so are there any seconds, or is it gonna die for lack of second?
Well, I think, oh, I guess I don't,
Do we have motivation to build a new fire hall or not, is what I'm
yes,
looking for.
I mean, I will second that.
Okay.
There is a motivation, it's the timing and
Okay.
everything else that we have to collect, we have to
Yeah.
do our homework.
I think we wanna support you
Yeah,
as much as
look into it.
possible, but we gotta get through some.
We gotta get through these preliminary
Yeah.
things.
Right, and that's why I made the motion was like, do we even wanna move in this direction? Cause then I would say step 2 would be financial stuff. in my opinion, I guess,
Mhm.
right? Like
Right.
you don't count, you count the
Well,
cost before you build the
We
tower.
can't even do much until we get everything finalized here, so what we're looking at is next month, hopefully, right? Is that what we're planning? So that we can review this, and then during that time is what Jamie's saying, right? I'm not gonna speak for you, but we need to collect possible loan
Mhm.
where we're gonna be sitting at.
Should we look, should we talk to League of Cities and see if there's any help with that as far as advice on where to go, or do we, Bank of North Dakota, I mean, other places, who would we go to for that?
Yeah, well, for funding, I guess Bank of North Dakota, would be my first stop, but now depending on the type of loan it is, what their interest rate is, could be competitive going, just going down the street.
Downtown.
You know, they might be
So can we-
willing to work with us to give us a different interest rate, to secure that loan. I haven't done one on a new building, so I don't know the funding.
So I guess the question is, who would wanna talk to
Who
them?
could we? who could-
Finance or
Yeah.
or auditor, or who would
Who would contact them?
those people?
I can do some checking on that for you, Chelsea, if you want me to.
Okay.
Like the loans and stuff.
Eric.
Yeah.
Okay.
You were who I was probably gonna call first anyway, but.
You know who I'm gonna talk to.
Yes, or Abby.
Yeah, that would be a really good choice, Abby, for sure.
Okay. What do we need, where are we at, Chelsea?
I guess with bringing that up, instead of going at, you know, going out for bids like you're saying, to get those numbers, do we wanna, you know, just like you do with road constructions, do a pre-planned engineered, but is that gonna go, how do I wanna say that? Is that gonna raise the cost up quite a bit, or do we do like we do on the road construction projects where we get an estimated amount?
Yeah, I mean, if I was, what I would do here, Jamie, is I would go around and check recently constructed sites, and I would look to see what those would cost. I've already
Okay.
reached out to a few already here
So,
tonight.
backing up the truck a little bit, if we're going after financing, should we do like, cause like, that's just like what we do with the roads, is we get that estimated value from you, and then we secure that, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, we take the contractor's estimate, and that's what, I guess, when we've started, that's what we go through for our funding amount. And then if we don't take all that from the Bank of North Dakota, essentially, then that's whatever we have to pay our contractors is what our loan amount ends up being.
But even before that, for financing,
Typically, we go to try to secure funding with what we have for the engineer's cost.
Yep.
thank you.
That's
Which is
typically what we do.
Always
And then
higher.
Once we do that, then we go through, you guys approve a task order for us to do some work. And then we come up with, the plan set that we'll bid, and then we adjust our funding based off the bids we get. But, I'm not saying like, this isn't a bad way either, it's just, especially you have some contractors, teams that these guys know that have done these already.
Yeah,
They might have a good idea already what it might cost. So, but I can check on my end too. I think getting a better idea on funding would be a good idea though.
right.
Yeah, and that was kind of the reason for my simple motion was like, is this feasible right now? Like, obviously, there's a lot of things to look into, but like, we could just say no, and then we move it to another later down the road. Like, that is an option, right? Because we do have a lot of different specials, lots of different projects coming up. So is that insurmountable where we cannot then look at this? Or if we wanted to move forward, because I think they're looking for some commitment, not like, well, okay, well, maybe you guys just kind of hang out and just, we'll see you next meeting, we're gonna table it, you know what I mean? So like, that's why I have my silly little motion on the table of like, I wanna build a new fire hall. Do we wanna do it or not, is kind of my point, like, cause then we'll move into the
That's best
financing.
thing to do, do you wanna go forward with this or not, because you can talk funding all you want, if nobody wants to do it, then
Yeah.
it's all for naught.
Yeah.
You guys got the horse way before the cart right now, we're gonna do it, yes or no?
Yeah, it's not even like a full commitment, like we're signing the dotted line, but like, do we see this as a feasible option? Is more so what I'm looking for, like, obviously roadblocks could stop it, right, where are we at?
Well, I think the city has a certain value as far as trying to get some of their own equipment under that roof, so
Mhm.
working to get them a building so we can get some of our stuff under a roof would be a benefit. What that amount is, we don't know. We don't have that number. We don't know. So, and then you guys getting all your stuff under one roof in one consolidated spot. But again, the funding is the real deal, and I suppose we gotta work through that.
We gotta do legwork.
Well, I mean, I don't, oh, honestly, right now, I don't think it's feasible, right now, as we sit here today, and that's my opinion.
Right, because I can kind of see the pathway. It would be a stretch though. It'd be a pretty thin stretch, you know,
I'm nervous about any emergency stuff that pops up. And
Right.
then where would we be at? That's where I'm concerned.
Well, just, and yeah, and part of like what we've talked about as well with all these other projects coming up, like we're kind of in a situation where things have been put off for 30, 40 years, and now we're all the same time mount special, you know, and that's kind of crushing, right? And people do not like that. I personally do not like that, right? But it's also nice to have a new fire hall. That's wonderful. Having your equipment together, the team together is just great stuff. And that's kind of where we're at, like, because I think it was what, like 10, 12 years we kind of talked about, we'd be more in a better spot with all these specials. Everything's kind of redone. We're in maintenance mode. We're kind of digging ourselves out of a hole right now,
We are, yes.
right? Because we have 1, 2, 4, 5, 4 big projects that Adam talked about. Is it or no?
Yeah.
'Cause
So
across the
any-
road, over there, up there, River Road, kind of. Maybe there's the 5th one. I don't know.
I would say 2013, 2014, 2016, and then 2021. So those 4 are probably the big ones.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I mean, and on roads, it's trying to push those projects out at least 5 years or close to 5 years. So
Mhm.
it's not back to back to back specials, you know?
Yeah, cause that's pretty hard.
Right, because then do we get like the shiny object syndrome where we're like, okay, this sounds great, and then we do this, but then we also have these other previous known commitments that are required to do. Like these fire trucks will be driving on these broken roads. Which then, oh, you need more fire trucks because they drove on the broken road that we put off because we put up a new hall. You know what I mean? There's a lot of things to consider here. But
Yeah.
We've been known to break a few roads.
yeah, no, it's something you guys do excellent work. So I'm not talking bad at all, but so that's the thing, is it's feasible right now.
Okay.
I don't know, my motion would contradict what I would probably vote for, just saying. I'm just saying like where we're at, I just wanted to get the ball rolling, that's what I was trying to do, so.
Well, a lot of times when you start looking at something, I mean, numbers don't lie. I mean, get the numbers together as factual as possible and look at that, and that's where we're at, I guess. I mean, until you see it on a spreadsheet and see what it is, sometimes it's like, okay, this is doable, and sometimes it's just not, once you see the numbers.
True, yeah, and maybe there's ways to wiggle it and stuff, but even like big picture, just where we're at, like I don't know, I don't think so, I don't know.
So you made a motion, was that seconded?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Any more discussion?
What was all under that motion? I mean, is it just saying that
It just
we're,
simply says, I wanna build a new fire hall,
in that, is context to,
nothing, like literally.
we can
like,
make an
literally, that's-
amendment,
That's
we can
that's
make
the
an
only, that's
amendment.
the only motion, just to see where we're at, right? Mark gets it, yeah,
So-
Mark gets it, yeah.
These meeting minutes are gonna be so hard.
Yeah,
Okay,
Take a vote.
yeah. We're gonna take a vote. Brandon?
No,
and this is just showing that we're showing support to move forward
Mm,
to,
seeking after this project right now, yep.
yes.
No.
yes. Motion dies.
When it happens, it happens.
Yeah,
I'd say just
well,
down the road.
it's not that it's a dead deal, but we just,
We gotta table it.
yeah. Thank you for your
thank
time.
you guys.
All right, okay, Eric, resolution for lead service line replacement project?
Yes, I think I'll, Chelsea, do you want me to talk about these or?
You have the floor.
Come on up here.
Ugh.
Does anybody need a break? Yeah, We're gonna take a 2-minute break.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's just if you wanna look over them, that's what it's on there. for
Oh,
now.
sorry, computer died.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3% on the left, or tablet.
Oh,
I
So
know.
we'll see.
that might be the end of the meeting right there.
Right.
Yeah, it's true. It's actually kind of like a timer. I think it's nice. I'm gonna turn my screen on to make that make it go down. Yep.
I'll try to make my stuff really quick so that you guys, cause I can tell everybody wants to go, so.
I have a lot I can do before I can leave tonight, so. You're
I'm sorry.
Just be here a while. You ain't gotta work tomorrow anyway, so you got all night.
Exactly.
It was kind of a beautiful week out this week outside. I mean, I could say that for something positive. It's supposed to be in the 40s all week.
Yeah, it was very, very nice for sure. Got rid of some of that neglected
That's like
snow.
summer now.
I
It's gonna
know.
probably freeze again. in a
That's
couple
what it
weeks.
feels
It'll be
like to
icy
me.
everywhere again.
Right.
With
Sorry
snow.
about the long meeting, but sometimes that's what it takes.
Yeah, that's okay.
At least we're having good discussion.
Yeah.
And we're not interrupting the Super Bowl.
Who won anyway? Who got the most baskets?
Seattle
Seattle did.
Seahawks. It was an interesting game. Good, defensive game for a while.
Have no
Big
idea.
defenses.
Didn't even look.
Uh,
Chelsea.
All right, yeah, we'll just wait on Chelsea.
Or she, maybe, she might be
Anybody
waiting
else
for
is,
us.
what?
She'll be able to hear us. So Chelsea, if you can hear us, come see us, but if not, never mind. She might be waiting over there to push the
Oh.
start button.
Okay,
Maybe, I don't know for sure though.
I don't know if she paused it.
Oh,
It's been recording.
okay,
the whole
just
time.
kidding.
Okay. Sounds like a buzzer.
We will
or
wait
something.
patiently then for Chelsea.
I think I hear it coming. Anybody else's computer die? Mine ran
Mine's at
out of
10%.
battery.
I got 2%.
You can wear mine if you want.
We got 8%.
We can share if you want.
No, I'm good, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay,
Ready to go?
yep,
Okay, so,
Start the meeting.
the next one on the agenda was the resolution for the lead service line replacement project.
Mhm.
So, essentially, we were, the SRF program looked at the intended use plan, and when I first told you guys that Washburn was not on there, and then they had their public engagement meeting, and they got, Washburn and a few other communities got on that list, so we had the application for $732,000 for a 66% loan forgiveness, loan from, the SRF program. So, this resolution, essentially, approves the loan application amount and identifies Mark and Chelsea as the authorized representatives for this. So this would be used for, we do have some lead service lines in town, and it'd be used to replace those lead service lines. And it'd also be used if we ever get to the point where we have to pothole unknowns on the utility side, we would use those funds for that too. So that's what this resolution, is for.
okay.
And I would just need a motion by the commission to approve that.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution for the lead service line replacement project,
Alright, I'll second it.
Any more discussion? If not, Brandon?
Yes.
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 And yes.
And we would only borrow as much as we need for that loan. Of course, this is asking for that much, but only what the city borrows is what they have to pay back. They're not committing to that amount.
Okay.
Okay, so the next one is the resolution for Heritage Heights SRF loan. So, the Heritage Heights project, we got the survey work done. Could have used this nice week that we have right now when the guys were out there surveying, but we got the survey work done and we're working on our 30% plans, design and specifications for the project. So this resolution is for the Clean Water SRF loan, and that's to help pay for the storm sewer improvements that we're doing. And that amount is for $1,683,000. And so what else here? So the resolution approves the loan amount and identifies Mark and Chelsea as authorized representatives for that.
Motion to approve.
I second.
Okay. Any more discussion? If not, Brandon?
Yes.
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 And yes.
Okay, and I'll go right into my update. So I just mentioned it, but we're working on our design stuff right now. We got the survey stuff done, work done. So we're grinding through that. The goal on this project is to have it ready to advertise by end of April, beginning of May. So I'll just keep you guys apprised of those updates as they come, but we're, like I said, cranking away on that. Got the SRF loan application, that resolution done. Bad news, the Flex Fund grant application, Washburn was not awarded that funding, so that was a little bit of a bummer there, so, we'll, try again on future projects to get that, cause that's a great source of funding if we can get it. And then, Abby is finishing draft assessment roles, and she will provide those to Chelsea, once she gets those done. Any questions on the 2025 project?
I have one question. So which one is it that we were denied? Which one was that?
The Flex Fund grant application is a DOT grant. And we
Okay.
were gonna use that for all of the asphalt costs of road improvements. Because at this point, our funding that we had lined up for this project, was the DOT grant and BND for that portion of it. And then we're looking at Department of Water Resources, loan grant combination with, the CWSRF loan, which is the resolution you guys just passed.
Gotcha.
That would pay for like the underground infrastructure, like the drainage improvements and the storm sewer. So we had two different funding sources for the two different parts of the project,
So that,
construction wise.
all we got left is the SRF loan for possible funding.
Yeah, the DWR, Department of Water Resources grant, we're hoping to get. So there's still more to follow on that. They have indicated to us that we will have design funding for that, and then, but they need to let us know what percent of the design that they'll pay for. And then once we get into construction, then we reapply for construction dollars through them. So, and again, it comes down to that, basically, how much of this is a drainage problem, and then how much of it's in city limits, and how much of it's coming from outside the city. So they pay a percentage based off of that. So we're still kind of working through that with DWR right now. So,
Okay.
any other questions on that project? Okay, lead and copper rule. So we sent out the surveys last month, at least a month ago. Eilert was in town again today. Did his second round visits to everybody in town that still has an unknown on the private side of their water service line. So we're trying to eliminate as many of those unknowns as possible right now. So so I guess I'm hoping that's going okay in town. I don't know what everyone has heard on that for the survey responses. Have you guys talked to anyone about that, or?
I
I
have.
haven't heard anything.
We have, we're under 10% survey response rate, which we'll have to just get those, I guess, as we, hopefully working with Adam and some of the guys, we can try to get the rest of those, figured out, but, that's gonna make it easier for when we get to the lead and copper rule improvements. When that rule comes into effect, the city will have to replace a certain amount, 10% per year of their lead service lines, so the more unknowns we can eliminate, the better off we're gonna be, so. So, work in progress there. But that SRF, resolution that you passed, that's good because we're gonna be able to get some funding for those replacements as they come up, so. Any questions on that one? The only other thing I got for you guys, and we're still working on, is the Riverside Park Road Improvements, task order to do that work. We had a special road fund grant, 60/40 grant to do some, repairs to the road down there and, where we kinda have, the slope kinda crumbling away, so, I haven't gotten to get to that yet. We've been focused on the street drainage improvements project lately, so. But the plan is for next meeting to have that for you guys. So,
Good.
You were gonna try to get that to bid at the same time as the other one?
yeah, the plan was to bid that this spring, and so hopefully contractors coming to Washburn or looking at Washburn would be looking at both those projects. We can get some better bid prices, so that's still the plan for that one, is to get that done, and ready for bid this spring, so. Any questions for me? That's all I got for you guys.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna move on to portfolios and new business.
I have something that.
Well, let's-
Go ahead.
Yeah,
No,
no,
it's okay.
no.
I
You
was
go
just
ahead.
well, the special hearing that we had, for the planning and zoning, special hearing.
There's a public hearing.
Sorry, public hearing. So, I did receive some feedback because the letters that we had sent out initially with the date change, because we had switched to a new date. Can we amend and have a way, maybe I should make the motion, I guess, for this, but that if we do that, we have to send out notification because those people were planning to be here. And then when it got canceled, then they were like, well, when is it? And they didn't know, so their feedback is the letters are going out and people are paying attention, which is good. But if we have to do a date change, we may have to follow up with another letter to some people.
Sure. We were here till 4:45 that day, and there was nobody here.
Okay.
So we were here for 15 minutes past the actual date, waiting to see, A, if anybody showed up, because that was supposed to be the meeting date. But B, we didn't have a quorum, so we couldn't have it anyway, but yeah, I mean, nobody showed up to that meeting, and nobody showed up to the second meeting either.
Okay.
So, but sure.
Do you have anything else? Keith, do you have anything?
Not this time, no.
Jamie, do you have anything?
That I know
I do, I got a couple things
Okay.
I went out and, with Mr. Zach and drove around all the buildings that we got out here.
Oh, yeah, great.
And, went to the treatment plant, to the hall, and, library. There's some things we went over in the hall that look at fixing up here in this, whatever we can here. Have them written down there, I'll get with them more and figure out what they wanna do, obviously, and what they don't wanna do. I don't think they wanna do, I don't know if he wants to do the tiling or not in the bathrooms, but I'll get with
They
them
can
more.
know, they could probably rip out the tile, but we don't want to do the tile ourselves for the floor here and in the bathrooms. That much I do know.
Those, more to come on that. Just, I thought I'd give you guys a sheet of what.
Oh, very good,
We saw,
Thank you.
so.
very good. I like this. Okay,
No, and then I talked to, Lieutenant Meadows too, and, so if he needs anything, he knows how to get a hold of me, if I need anything, I know how to get a hold of him, so.
perfect.
Can I add?
Yeah,
I did
sure.
see, you went to the library too?
Mhm.
Did you see the area down in the basement?
Yep, yep,
Okay.
yep. Yeah, me and Zach talked about that too, with the water that they have between there and whatnot. That comes into the basement, you talking?
Yeah, every time it rains.
Yep.
That it floods.
Yeah, I think we spoke, we'll figure it out here once, hopefully before it gets to summer.
I went and had my preliminary meet, so
Oh, yep,
I didn't even know if that was an issue though, so.
Yep.
Yeah, Okay, great.
The only thing I got with portfolios, Keith, I know you and Adam were on a committee to work with, Park Board. I was wondering if you'd be willing to let Brandon work with Adam since he's got buildings and grounds now? And then kind of take your place. I don't think we need to make a motion to change that.
I don't think so, because the president can assign committees, right?
Yeah, that was, just a formality thing, so,
Unless we necessarily needed to like override your decision, I guess we need a motion, but I'm fine with that, so.
yeah, I think it's fine.
That's cool,
Okay.
sounds good.
And then the only thing, Jamie and I, when we went up and looked at, Garden Drive, the road, we thought of some ideas how to maybe create some parking for the park.
Oh, yep.
So if you wanna get together with Jamie and you guys can discuss that. And then you can bring that information to the park board.
Okay.
I'll let you guys handle that, but I shared my thoughts with Jamie and not to extend the meeting any further, I'll just let you guys kind of look at those options.
Okay.
Okay?
Is there a time that I can maybe meet up with you later, just to throw, that we can meet with Adam about that basement at the library? There are issues there?
I don't know, I mean, not this week, I'm not gonna be able to.
Oh, it's okay, but like, before our next meeting,
Yeah.
maybe, so.
They've got some ideas, it has to do with
They
the
got some good-
drainage and
yeah,
the
the-
building next door
Okay,
and how it runs off. So it's two-part property that is an issue. And
Okay.
not just the city's property with how that is coming up, so.
good to know, okay.
Heather, it's a small kind of item, but, it's with your police portfolio. We've seen protesting in Bismarck and stuff like that. We're on a main artery from Bismarck to Minot. We'll never know if we'll see any protesters come through this area. But if we do, if you can just talk to law enforcement and find out if they want to put out a memo or something to the public, if we do happen to see anything, how the public should respond to it. Like avoid it or no conflicts, because they're looking for a reaction.
Mhm.
They do have a right to freedom of speech, but in the right place, But if you just wanna visit with them about that, and then make Chelsea aware, and if we need to put out any kind of public notice, I'll let you deal with that.
Okay.
I'm not gonna get ahead of it, so. But just so we're kinda aware of what's going on.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
I don't really have anything under my portfolio, so. Do we have a superintendent report?
Yep, that was submitted, so if you have any questions on that, I guess you can take them to Adam. They were working on some new barricades, that has been completed. Been working on equipment maintenance and some road scraping. They did do some repairs to the membranes last Friday down at the water treatment plant. And they are working on some sewer flushing, especially with all the water we have flowing. So, I
Okay.
guess, yeah, that's kind of the bulk of that. If there's any other questions, those can be directed towards Adam.
And then,
Um,
what do you have?
So just to let everybody else know, it is an election year, so if you plan on running for city office or park board, petitions can be found on our website or they can be picked up here at City Hall. They are due April 6th at 4 p.m. I think I have it posted, 29 signatures, I believe, for city commission and 7 signatures for, park board. I think I have them all posted. Yeah, 29 and 7. There's 2 forms that need to be filled out for that. We are closed on Monday. It's President's Day. And we have an open position for the forestry board. If anybody's interested in serving on that, you can submit a letter of interest. The park board meeting has been postponed until next Wednesday, so there's no park board meeting this Wednesday. And I think that's all I have.
Is there any applicants for a special,
Suspect.
assessment?
No, I was off a year, so, oh, actually, no, just kidding, yes, we have to replace him. So, forestry board and special assessment committee, if anybody is interested in being on either of those committees, submit a letter of interest before March. I got my dates wrong. March 5th, and we can hopefully have those, hopefully get somebody interested and appoint those at our March meeting. But, thank you.
Okay. Nothing else?
No.
All right, next meeting, March,
That's a good question.
oh, I'm sorry. Rhonda Johnson.
Yes, Rhonda Johnson with Washburn Life. I'm just wondering if the city will participate again this year in the Taste of Washburn. Last year you guys made lemonade and coffee.
And that, what's the date on that?
April 11th, Saturday, 4:30 to 6:30. Volunteer your kids.
My kids? Keith's kids? Yours are cuter, no.
I wouldn't say that.
That's okay, you gotta tell,
We can supply the coffee and lemonade. Whether or not somebody's there or not from the city, but the city will supply it.
Okay.
That's within my budget spending.
11th. Yeah. I'll be at that event with the ambulance service, but I'll be around to help coordinate that for the city. Anything else, Rhonda? All right. Okay, next meeting, March 9th, 2026. Meeting adjourned. Well, at least you got good roads to drive.
Oh, you guys turn these off the way that Chelsea said. Try and just turn it off a little bit.
Mine's dead.
My power's
Oh,
already.
then you're probably good to go.
Yeah.
If it shuts off,
Yeah, she said just to try and shut them off. How to shut it off.